Good morning and welcome back here to Sandnes in Norway. It's the final day of the European Athletics Team Championships First League. Here on the west coast of Norway, a population of the city estimated around 77,000 people, one of the fastest growing places in the country. The other side from Oslo. The hurdles already out this morning, a good crowd inside the stadium as well. Well, we've got 11 teams fighting for national pride here as well as points. Yesterday we saw Norway take 5 victories overall, including 2 for Ingebrigtsen brothers Philip and Jakob in the 5,000 and 1,500 meters. Today Henrik, the oldest of the 3, will go, and it will be another sense of delight for the home crowd, because the Ingebrigtsens, born, bred and still living just minutes from this stadium. Wonderful backdrop as well. So we take a look at the timetable for today. The women's pole vault concluding earlier. They switched that late on to the Sandnes Hallen indoors elsewhere in the city. Bring you results from that in a moment's time. And we also have finals of the 200 meters, the men's steeplechase, having seen Wagner Györges, the Hungarian, triumph in the women's edition yesterday, and we conclude with the 4x400 meter relay finals. And right on cue, here are the results of the women's pole vault. Irina Zhuk of Belarus, 4:56 was her best, so she takes 11 points, and you can see on the right-hand side of your screen, as I was saying, right from that maximum of 11 all the way down to 1 points, making the difference there. The national record for Retzius of Norway, indeed. And so this is how the standings look. Portugal leading by 20 points. Norway and Netherlands, the 2 that we really expected to be the most consistent and challenge for that 1 promotion spot. And they are a little way back, but it's very congested. Belarus and Turkey doing well, and those looking to avoid the drop, Belgium, Slovak Republic, Hungary and Lithuania. So lots of exciting races, jumps and throws look to ahead today, and men's triple jump will be the first action that gets underway in the field, and the sprint hurdles finals on the track. A couple of the Irish athletes watching on. And have the likes of Fionnuala McCormack, Mark English, Marcus Lawler to come. They'll hope to stay in the position they are in, indeed possibly move up as well. But it could all remain incredibly close. But that's the dynamic of these European Team Championships. Whether you finish 4th or 7th, it really makes a difference. And so straining for those extra few centimetres and that fraction of a second can be important. So live coverage to come throughout the day as we get ready to introduce those who will feature in the men's triple jump competition. Flags all the way around the stadium showing you the countries taking part. Portugal, Norway, Netherlands, Belarus, Turkey, Ireland, Romania, Belgium, Slovakia, Hungary and Lithuania. That's the order in which they stand, as per that table you saw a few minutes ago. It's interesting that Portugal have only won 2 events overall, Nascimento in the 100 meters, and it was Irina Rodriguez on the first day in the women's discus. But they've had 5 third places and 5 fourth places. That's what's made the difference. One of their big hitters to come here. First of all, Shurila, World Under-20 champion back in 2012, but Pedro Pablo Pichado, 18.08, that lifetime best from 2015. Twice a world silver medalist and 5th all-time, second European all-time. Dennis Finnegan of Ireland, 15.58, his best. 7 times Irish champion. Next, Thomas Wysielka, 8th in Berlin. And excellent yesterday in the long jump. Paulius Vrauskas, the Lithuanian. So they are on the bottom of the table. That one victory in the women's triple jump from Tevile Kilti. This is Henrik Flotnes, 7th European under-20s recently in Sweden. 15.46 at best. Tibor Galambos, a multi-eventer who also has a 7.65 long jump PB. Tarek Tahiri of the Netherlands, 15.17 is the furthest that he's jumped. And Grecu of Romania, one of the better athletes in this competition. He was 5th at the European under-23s recently. Bjorn de Deker, 15.27. His best. Chano Zabek, who just missed out on the medal at the University Games recently. Well, just bearing in mind that it's Portugal, Norway, Netherlands, the top 3 in the standings, with Belarus just a couple of points back, so too Turkey. Obviously, this is an event where the Portuguese man, Pichado, is an outstanding favourite, and that could help grow that advantage. And I don't think it's unfair to say that it's a slight surprise to see Portugal leading, particularly when they've only had those 2 wins overall. Could be a third before too long, of course, compared to 5 wins for Norway and 3 for the Netherlands and 3 for Turkey. The Netherlands also having 6 second places, but between those 2 countries, starting with N, the hosts and the Dutch, they have a bit of disappointment to mull over this morning, having messed up the relays significantly. Absolutely disappointing, really poor changeover, you'd have to say, to Chirandi Martina, a man with so much experience on the final leg. They really messed it up. So too the Norwegians, with Okpa Rebo sprinting for them. So this is Gerard O'Donnell of Ireland, coached by Jeremy Lyons. 2 other training partners making their finals as well. Cosmin Ili Dumitrash of Romania. Vladimir Vukcevic. 13.4 at best this season. Vitaly Parahonka, 13.40. We'll see Elvira Herman, his compatriot, the European senior champion in the women's final. Valdo Schooks spent time at the University of Bath in England, 4th at the British Indoors last year. Michael Obasui, representing his country as a junior international in Sweden recently, in tough competition. And Razel Davo, Portuguese athlete, leading the top of the standings once again. And Miktat Şevler of Turkey goes on the outside. So the first track final on the 3rd day. A couple of national record holders in this. Şevler for Turkey, Vukcevic of Norway, European semi-finalist last year in Berlin. So too Parahonka as well. Dumitrash, Romanian champion every year since 2015. So watch out for Dumitrash, Vukcevic, Parahonka and Schooks in the middle lanes. Parahonka just shading it at the moment. Flotnes trying to catch up in the white and blue. Obasui going really well also, but Parahonka just gets there. So it's Belarus from Belgium, with Hungary battling for 3rd. Flotnes not having quite as fast a final gear as he might have hoped to. indeed. Confirmation, Parahonka, 13.73 for the Belarusian. And they will hope to complete a sprint hurdles double in a matter of moments. So white and green in lane 4. Obasui really fighting tooth and nail, determined look on his face. So let's have a look at confirmation of the full results. Obasui from Souks, from Vukcevic and Shevler. That's the top 5 that have come through, all on your screen here. Particularly close between Shevler and Dumitrash. And still waiting for a time to come up for O'Donnell. There we are. So we have the preliminary round on Friday, and there were some quite easy qualification conditions, of course, because 11 men trying to get in the top 8, so we didn't see particularly fast times. In fact, Lauren Bazzolo of Portugal was even able to run a 100 and a 200 meters heat within 25 minutes of one another. Here is her teammate, Pedro Pablo Pichado. Got to watch my P's there to make sure they aren't popping into the microphone. One of the best triple jumpers of all time. Now, in the colours of Portugal. You can see the 17-metre mark there in the pits, capable of so much further. Of course, had to wait before he could represent Portugal internationally. So opening up this competition, 1694. Thomas Verschelke then, the 4th athlete to jump here, but as you can see there, only the 2nd to have a jump measured. Excellent yesterday in the long jump, as I mentioned, and looking fairly good here. Perhaps not the distance that he wants at this stage. 1691, his best this year. He was 8th in Berlin, the European Senior Championships. Of course, so many of these athletes took part in not only that competition, but in Glasgow indoors earlier this year. And we've seen European medalists as far back as at least 2010. Henrik Ingebrigtsen, who'll be featuring later on in the 3,000 metres, has medalled at the last 4 Europeans. When you look at that, that's pretty consistent. Thomas Verschelke then, 1643. Very early stages of this men's triple jump final. But Slovakia and Lithuania very much fighting to stay in the first league. Svarauskas, 1576, that was last year, in which he was the Lithuanian champion, and he defended his title successfully in 2019. That's back on where he'd hoped to be, I think. Short of 1576, certainly. How was that on the board? Looked fairly close. Pretty solid. Pichado watching on. Tracksuit back on. Fairly cool conditions here. Slightly overcast as it was yesterday, but 1489. But as we've been learning, if you not only watching this competition, but also the under-23s and under-20s, where Henrik Flotnes participated, Scandinavian summers see some quite changeable weather. So the crowd really getting in the mood early on day 3. Kloknes won't be too far away from his lifetime best. It's possibly just over 15 meters. Plenty of room to spare. $15.23, so indeed he's 23 centimeters off the furthest he's jumped. That should be a good target to aim for, and he seems up for the fight. Obviously Norway set to lose points in this. Henrik Ingebrigtsen, I mentioned to come. Grovdal won the 3,000 meters yesterday, and she goes in the 5,000 meters. Number of middle distance athletes doubling up. It's been very difficult to do so in the sprints because of those close preliminaries on Friday. Tibor Galambos, his first jump. So 16 meters and 20. His PB. Fairly solid opening here. So Hungary have opened up with a 3rd place this morning, and that's the position in which, for the moment, Galambos slots into. So you're watching live coverage here, the official stream of the European Athletics Team Championships First League from Sandnes in Norway. So, confirmation of that victory for Belarusian Para Honka in the men's sprint hurdles from the young Belgian Obasui and Valdo Schooks, the man who has spent time in the west of England. British University's silver medalist. So slight change there sees Belarus now move in front of the Netherlands after that victory for Para Honka. Who's her sister, I believe, Svetlana, now a junior international for Belarus as well. The European under-23s, Elvira Herman winning that competition, but 2 other Belarusians also looking good. So clearly their setup as far as hurdling concerned is only going up and up at the moment. Razvan Christian Grecu of Romania. I was impressed with the number of 3rd places and 4th places that Romania managed to pick up yesterday. 3rd 4 times in particular. So by virtue of there being 11 teams, if you come 3rd, you get 9 points, so that's 36 points. But they've also been 10th 5 times. That's why they're in 8th in the standings overall. But great jump there from Grecu, just off to the left-hand side slightly. So his best, 16.83, just 5 centimeters off the national record of Mariana Preja, the Athens 2004 Olympic silver medalist and world bronze in 2005. He's just 19 years old, as you may have heard when they were introduced. 16 meters 27, strong start. And at the moment, another 3rd place. They've got the likes of Claudia Vovacer to come. 1,500 meters, Alexandru Novak in the javelin, which is the last field event of the day. Here's the first. So De Decker of Belgium, his first effort. Fairly solid. You can see sort of looking down there just to check his footing. So perhaps it was a slightly controlled jump, didn't quite maximise his potential. 14.53. Wasn't all free-flowing, so to speak. Well, that concludes the first round, and Dennis Finnegan and Anne Sharila of Ireland and Belarus, respectively, the two that haven't registered a mark. It's Peixado from Veszelka, from Grecu, Galambos and Flotnes, Portugal, Slovakia, Romania, Hungary and Norway that make out the top 5. There are also the 5 men over 15 metres, with the top 3 being over 16. No surprise that Peixado way out in front and capable of going much, much further. Hopefully it will stay dry. It is at the moment, as Ozapek of Turkey jumps here. So he joins Sharila and Finnegan in not registering a mark. So the final of the women's 100-metre hurdles. Olympia Barbosa of Portugal, 13.36 this year. And Messina of Belgium. And see a couple of tenths off that lifetime best. Isabella Pedersen, Olympian, 2 times a world semi-finalist, is very close to making those finals. 12.72 at best. One of Norway's biggest stars. Elvira Herman, the star of this field though, the European champion. Both at senior and under 23 level now. 12.64 ranks her number 1. Nadine Visser, European indoor champion, now concentrating on the sprint hurdles. Sarah Levin of Ireland, 4th at the University Games. And Stanislava Askakova of Slovakia. Luka Kotzak of Hungary, European semi-finalist. Well, she's run sub-13 this year. 12.89. Isabel Pedersen of Norway yet to do so. So we'll wait and see what kind of form everyone's in this final. So the other 3 athletes eliminated in the heat on Friday, but they will still score 1, 2 and 3 points. Barbosa, Messina, Pedersen, Herman, Visser, Levin, Bashkakova and Kotzak. Good start from the Irish woman. Visser pulling through alongside her. Herman with some work to do now. Nadine Visser straining to get there. Looks like she does. 12.99. So, impressive stuff from Nadine Visser. Takes maximum points for the Netherlands, just what they need at this stage. Particularly after that downer with the relay disqualifications yesterday. So real concentration from Nadine Visser, and Lavin unfortunately hitting that hurdle after such a good start. So unfortunate for the Irish woman. She does finish, indeed. Well, I thought I saw her crossing the line there. But as far as I'm aware, if you do qualify for the final, according to the official rules, you are still eligible for the points equivalent to 8th place, so that would be 4 points, even if you don't finish, just to clear that up. But Nadine Visser coming in as one of 3 women who've run sub 13 seconds this year, and 12:98 the official confirmed time. Let's go back to the triple jump, shall we? Pichado of Portugal. Second round attempt. Kind of feel it's him against the pit, really. Way, way back there. Could still be an improvement, though. 16.94 in the first round. 16.98, indeed it is. So once again, they're jumping from right to left as we look down the home straight of it, effectively the other way. Parallel with the back straight, very tightly up against the track. Quite a close-knit stadium in that sense, as you may see. So it bodes well for the jumpers. Indeed, Dovile Kilti of Lithuania, formerly Dovile Zinzaletaite, getting a lifetime best, only just 14.28, if my memory serves me correctly, in the triple jump. 11 points. That's sealed for Lithuania, who were promoted by the skin of their teeth 2 years ago. Here's Vishelka. So winner in the long jump, and at the moment looking very solid in the triple jump. Slovakia need everything they can get to avoid relegation, because this competition's being streamlined to 8 teams across all of the leagues in 2 years' time. Which is a positive decision, I think. It helps the format in the sense that you don't have the preliminary rounds, which were quite dry because of those easy qualifications to get through to the finals. And I think also having a 2-day event rather than a 3 might also encourage athletes to take part. It means one less day of travel, potentially, one less day outside of your usual training block. So confirmation of that victory, more comfortable than I expected, certainly, from Visser, who beat Elvira Herman, the European champion. Kotsak of Hungary, good 3rd place from her, from Pedersen. And Slovakia, Portugal, Belgium and Ireland. Sarah Lavin did finish in the end, but as per the team manual, I understand that she would have got those 4 points in any case of a DNF or even a false start, a DQ. But it's not the case if, let's say, you don't get a jump in. Here, you wouldn't get any points at all. It was the case with Vanessa Sterkendries of Belgium in the hammer yesterday. Flotness in the triple. Well, slightly unorthodox, but oh, I'm glad he sees the funny side, I really am. But I think that that was a red flag anyway on the board. It's funny because it's like in football sometimes. Occasionally you'll see a footballer go in for a tackle with their head. Let's have it. Oh, well. Was that a mark in the plasticine? suspect it was a close one. Well, he enjoyed that moment. But Flotness, an improving athlete and good long jumper as well. So at the moment, we haven't seen too much improvement in the second round, but only a few jumps so far. Dennis Finnegan of Ireland has registered his first effort, and that's 14.66. It puts him in 8th place. And the same can be said of Andrei Sharila, and his first registered effort puts him in 4th. Albeit there is a good half metre between him and Grecu of Romania, the teenager, who holds 3rd place. So the triple jump going as we expected, with Pichardo out front. The great Nelson Evora competed many times at the European Team Championships. Holds the championship record. Indeed, 17.59 from 10 years ago. And if I'm not mistaken, the championship records listed here apply to all of the leagues, including the Super League. I have a feeling that's the case because Great Britain and Russia are mentioned on some of them. So Galambos of Hungary, 15.42. What have you got? Well, around a fairly similar mark. He's in 5th overall at the moment and needs 33 centimetres further to go ahead of Sharila. That is pretty much exactly where he was on the board last time around, so that's consistency, if anything. The officials seem to be ready for the rain. I was asking if I want one of those ponchos earlier, and I thought it might be tempting fate. You can see now the wind is even stronger. Plus 2.8 meters a second. So while the triple jump continues and is midway through the second round, we'll take a look at the lineup for the men's discus. So Irina Rodriguez winning the women's competition for Portugal. There was Zoltan Carvalho hoping to add to Benke Halas's hammer win. Kaspar Huttink, Dutchman. Frederica, 66.22. One of those who competed in Vasa a couple of years ago. He was also at the Hala Verpetaka, the throwing international event. He was only Romanian there, actually. Milanov competed in the shot put, where he finished 9th yesterday. Now he needs the 65-metre Belgian Doha qualifying standard, so we'll watch out for that as part of the narrative of this competition. Yildirim of Turkey alongside Yevgeny Bahutsky, the Belarusian, you can see, 61.33 this year. Carvalho, who we saw a little earlier, the best by PBs, Francisco Bello. I thought Sanko Onadov was a little down in the shot put on where we expected him to be. 21.56 to win 2 years ago, a Portuguese national record. But his team still lead the standings. That's Colin Quirk of Ireland. Samuel Kovac, Slovakian. Alexis Abramovicius of Lithuania, 63.32. And Olastunis Isena, fantastic season he's had. 5th in the world this year. And at one point, that was second in the world behind Daniel Stoll. 67.78, big cheer from the crowd, and he certainly will battle Kavago, who's only thrown 62 meters this year. I'm sure another victory for a Norwegian isn't too far away, because there were so many yesterday. We're now seeing that, yes, confirmation that Lavin DQ, but does get 4 points because of qualification to the final, which is a good rule, I think, although maybe slightly divisive among some of you. So we move on to the men's 800-meter final. Mehmet Çelik of Turkey goes on the outside, 17 years old in fact. Van der Putte of Belgium, 1:48 this year. Conversations ongoing between Wojciech of Romania and Van Diepen of the Netherlands. He's saying, I'm going to beat you into that first bend. Better be ready off your marks. Vindic of Hungary, European Indoor Heats, the last 2 editions of that competition, most recently in Glasgow this year. Mikus of Lithuania and Einan of Norway, 7th at the European Under-23s. This is Andrej Paulini, the Slovakian, 1:52.16, his new lifetime best. Mark English just finished his medical studies, going as a full-time athlete now for the first time before Tokyo, hoping to qualify. Nuno Pereira, the young Portuguese European Under-20 champion. That was a thrilling finish to that race in Sweden. And Karpov, I wondered whether we would see him. Here we are. Karpov, 1:48.83 this year. So interesting lineup here over 2 laps. Karpov, Pereira, English, Paulini, Mikus, Einan, Vindic, Van Diepen, Wojciech, Van der Putte and Çelik ready to go on the outside. So it's the Turk who leads them just around the bend. We wait for the stagger to unwind. Çelik, I mentioned he was only 17, lifetime best 1:48.53. Now that was set in Tampere at the World Under-20s, where he reached the semi-finals. Competed in Borås over both 8 and 1500 meters. Van Diepen, the tall Dutchman behind him then, European indoor bronze medalist over 400 meters. The 23-year-old. A number of young athletes in this, fairly young. I suppose, at what age do you call someone young? Maybe up to 25, 26. Van der Putte's 24. But just look at how cagey this is so far. 55.39. And there's an army of hungry men keen to have a burn-up over the last 400 meters and pull through, and possibly use the last 200 in particular as a trigger. Nuno Pereira of Portugal, who is towards the back there, triumphed in that sort of race at the European Under-20s. And Mark English tucked in behind on the inside. The now man who's finished his medical studies. He has 2 wins at the European Team Championships First League in the past. European indoor bronze medalist. Van Diepen also getting on the podium in Glasgow. He's right on the outside here. It's the Hungarian though. Vindic. Look at this battle. English on the inside, but Vindic is going to hold on to the line. Great final gear from the Irishman, and then Çelik battling for 3rd place. Wow, just seemed to pull away well. And take maximum points for Hungary. Beaten some faster athletes here as well. So good start to the morning for Hungary with the strong discus thrower we saw a moment ago to come. Mark English getting second, so I make that the 4th time that he's been in the top 2 of the European Team Championships First League, and that could help keep Ireland in this league. Yes, English was first in Vasa 2017, second in Heraclion 2015, first in Tallinn 2014. That'll serve me right for saying too many numbers at once. This is Feferica in the discus. Oh, looks like we're seeing a couple of spots of rain once more. No surprise, really, because very, very changeable conditions. So on that 60-meter line for Feferica. So officially, it's 21 centimeters short of it. So only Cavalgo and Feferica have thrown so far, according to the live results. Bring you up to date with that in a moment as we go back to the men's triple jump. So they are in the second round. It's a foul, unfortunately, for Sharila. So now, having moved into the 3rd round, in fact, the live results just a little bit behind. Well, even if that one is having a bit of a rest, there are plenty of young, enthusiastic fans and volunteers, and doing everything from basket carrying to flag holding. Belo in the discus for Portugal. Some way back off 60 meters. So thus far, Zoltán Cavalgo, 57.14. Expect further from him, but it is the first round, and does look like the circle is a little slippery, possibly a little greasy, and if the rain does hold off, then it will dry a little bit with further usage. Here is the result of the men's 800 meters. Vindic from English and Celik, a lifetime best for Paulini. This is Colin Quirk, the Irishman. Feferica from Milanov, from Bahutsky. The most up-to-date result. Quick through the circle was Quirk, but she's going off to the left-hand side there. Not a clean flight through the air. So 50.84. First throw for the Irishman. Vishelka, triple jump. 3rd round now. 2 jumps within 3 centimeters of one another. And he is a man with a bit between his teeth at the moment. No surprise he's getting the crowd going. And I wouldn't be surprised either if he jumped a little closer to 17 meters here. Winner in the long jump yesterday. There have been some really good field performances from the Slovakians, including Martina Strašneva in the hammer yesterday. So that does look perhaps a little closer, only just to 17 metres. It could well be further consistency. But on target at the moment for a haul of 21 points individually, and that, I think, is mightily impressive and makes him one of the early favourites for one of the stars of this competition. Of course, as far as the home fans concerned, they will be the Ingebrigtsens, but they are doing one event each, so they all get their moment in the spotlight, because sometimes they're up against each other on the international stage. And, well, seemingly at the moment it's often Henrik and Philip being upstaged by the younger brother Jakob. So this is a Brumovicius there. 62.37, a season's best for the Lithuanian. Such a great tradition of discus throwing. Of course, the great Virgilius Alekna. Twice Olympic champion, twice world champion, and once European as well. Saw his son competing as a junior for Lithuania. The European under-20s. Sandnes Isene. Not too far away from his best. An outstanding season, as we were saying. Fifth in the world this year. So it's been a particularly good year for Nordic discus throwing. Kanjosdal, one of the best ever. To the final of the women's 1500 metres. Disvov of Belgium lining up first of all. Bobachea, a winner 2 years ago in Vasa in Finland. Hummels 4:10 this year. Dutch woman. Ragnar Gyökeres, winner in the steeplechase, so strong and powerful towards the end of that race. Grovdal, also a winner yesterday in the 3,000 metres. Monika Olenska of Lithuania alongside her, and Dushkova of Slovakia. This is Amy O'Donoghue. Great new lifetime best at the British Milers Club Grand Prix in Eltham in London recently, which is a middle distance competition. And this is Berku Subatan of Turkey. We also saw Salome Afonso and Daria Barisevic of Portugal and Belarus, respectively. So 3 3/4 off the track. Jakob Ingebrigtsen, a winner yesterday, a winner at what, 75% of his capability, because it was easy for him, as expected, and I don't think that's unfair to say to the others in the field, but he is such an amazing teenage talent. He was full of excitement and needed no extra motivation than being in front of his home city crowd, not just Norwegians. So, Sunday morning stroll, this opening. Incredibly pedestrian. Afonso, there in the centre. Bobachea alongside her, the tall Romanian. 4:02.27 this year. And Afonso was 5th at the European under-23. She seemed to have a tactic there of going right on the outside, all the way into lanes 3 and 4. And a race that was won by Gemma Reekie of Great Britain and Northern Ireland as part of her double. And at those championships, a number of women doubling up in this field, 5 in fact. including Sabatan towards the back in the black leggings. 8 of these women have PBs this year also. Wagner Györkesh, as I said, won the steeplechase. So I wonder how much that will be in her legs. Grovdal used to endurance, so no doubt that she'll be able to cope. Twice a European medalist, including the 10,000 metres 3 years ago, and also great steeplechaser. Her lifetime best, 4 minutes and 5, but she hasn't run a 1500 this year. At least not outdoors according to my notes anyway. Lifetime best, I mentioned, set in Stockholm in 2018. She's from Alesund in Norway, a small matter of a 12-hour drive up the Norwegian coast. Bobachea leading with 2 laps to go, so it becomes very much an 800-metre race. Well, there are several athletes in this field capable of really pushing on. Philip Ingebrigtsen was possibly, well, one of the only athletes in a middle distance or long distance race who really decided to go for it, and that was with a couple of laps to go. No surprise in his extraordinary confidence in his own talent. But they are almost holding hands out there through what looks like a start-finish line, but isn't, on the back straight into the top bend. We'll almost get a chance to look at perhaps the mountains through the trees in the background. Unfortunately, the tall trees and other paraphernalia in the stadium shielding those, but it was a wonderful backdrop. Goodness me, almost 6 abreast. This could be some last 400 metres. Grovdal in an okay position at this point, but the same could be said yesterday, and she found a way through. She will have to do some battling to get through, though. Caroline Björkelly Grovdal. Good luck with that. Amy O'Donoghue on the outside. Fantastic PB that I mentioned. Beat the likes of Hannah England, former world medalist, and Amelia Quirk, the talented British junior. Britt Hummels of the Netherlands now really gritting her teeth, working her arms hard down the back straight, and no one can catch her just at this stage. Barisevic, the Belarusian, in second. Then O'Donoghue of Ireland looking to follow up the excellent work of Mark English. Bobachea, no surprise that she comes around the outside. Look at this battle, though. Hummels of the Netherlands against Barisevic. The Belarusian in front. Look at Bobachea coming through now. I don't think she'll be fast enough to take the lead, or will she? Trying to get there. Barisevic, Bobachea and Hummels. Those are the first 3 across the line. And then Afonso finishing fast. Look at Subatan as well, the Turk. Grovdal well out of it. Well, I know she had the 3,000 metres in her legs, but a number of these women have doubled up, including Bobachea of Romania. And Grovdal made it tough. But I don't think you can blame her for an impressive performance in terms of doubling up. Look at Györkesh, Wagner Györkesh of Hungary on the inside there, also just perhaps tiring towards the last. So that may be proving a factor, but Subatan did better than she did in the 1,500 metres, no, sorry, in the 3,000 metres. She was 10th in that final yesterday. Maybe she felt that she really had something to prove and she had plenty left.
European bronze medalist from 2016 with a national record of 18:57.
So we're introducing the women's shot put contenders. A teammate of Subatan, Dereli, Turkish national record holder. Aliona Dubitskaya of Belarus, 1921 at best. Bandeira of Portugal still leading the way in the standings and aiming for that promotion spot. Michaela Walsh of Ireland. 16 metres and 13 her best. Velekova, 14.24 in 2019. Yevan Zarankaita, 16.58 for the Lithuanian. Mona Ekrol-Shahidi. Anita Marton, world indoor champion, and another strong chance of maximum points here for the Hungarians. Looks like it could be a really good day for them. Berkelman, you can see she's a little way back on her PB this year. Husam Vitan of Romania. Same question could be asked of her. Norwitz, the Belgian. There is quite a significant difference between some of those lifetime bests. So I hope you're enjoying the coverage here with the finals coming thick and fast. Belarus winning the women's 1500 metres. That was an interesting race, wasn't it? Because they were 6 abreast at one stage. Really fighting for position. Bobachev did come through for second place ahead of Hummels, who really went for it. And I hope you join me in admiring her courage even in doing so. That means the standings after 26 events see Belarus move up one place further, up into second now, and cutting Portugal's lead to 15 points. However, take that with a pinch of salt, because the triple jump not quite concluded, and Pedro Pablo Pichado goes in this final. And the final is the top 4 athletes, each getting one last 4th round effort. So Ozupek, he won't improve, only registered 1 jump in fact, but it was a good one, 16 metres and 30. And unfortunately, the wrong side of the plasticine. Now, I'm not sure if we saw it, in fact, but Grecu of Romania, with his final effort, improved further up to 16.82. It wasn't wind legal, but it displaced Thomas Vashelka. So if he wants 1 extra point, more than 20 individually for Slovakia, he will have to improve by 31 centimetres here. Now he's had 3 jumps within 9 centimetres, or even 8 centimetres of one another, doing him a disservice there. So driving hard down the runway, the Slovakian winner of the long jump. I have a feeling that's a red flag too. All the anticipation. Oh, blast, he says, or whatever is the Slovakian, for a possible swear word. It's funny because obviously neither me nor you know all of the swear words in all of the European languages, but I did pick up at the European under-20s that one of the Finnish athletes, after a foul, did say a Finnish swear word, which is quite known internationally. So Grecu of Romania hoping to let his jumping say the words for him. 19 years of age. He's had a great series, improving with every jump. 16.27, then 56, then 82. Once again driving hard. It's another red flag And to be honest, it's not a huge surprise, partly because they all know that they've got good jumps, and it's one effort where they can really just go for it. And he needed to go over 17 meters, or 16.99, to overhaul Pichardo, and you feel that whatever was thrown at him, the Portuguese would be able to respond. Here he is. So privileged to have one of the best ever. He actually wants quiet. And now he wants the crowd to get behind him. Well, it's funny because I remember the World Indoor Championships in Birmingham last year. We saw a number of athletes want quiet, and some wanted the crowd to get behind them in that high jump competition. So the crowd was responding to instructions depending on the athlete preference. Very specific rhythmic clapping for Pichardo, and that is another red flag. Oh, we're having fun here, I have to say, in Sandnes. But Pichardo, he takes an 11 points for Portugal. And you know what? That could make a huge difference. Part of the fact has been that in the relays, at the end of yesterday, the 4x1s, Portugal second and third overall. Whereas between Norway and Netherlands, you had, I think, 3 disqualifications and 1 10th place. And that is nothing short of poor. No kidding you there. Especially with the likes of Zinot Perebo, Chirandi Martina, Hensley Paulina, and Jamili Samuel. They also had the 16-year-old Nketia Sado, the European under-20 silver medalist, who was the fastest in that competition, a national under-18 best for her in Borås in Sweden. That was fantastic to watch, and surprised even herself, Duditskaya, in the women's shot put. For Belarus. So once again, we are in the first round. A little bit damp, that circle, but shouldn't cause too much of an issue. Good crowd on that far side of the stadium. And these are the men just getting into position, some of them rudely with their backs to the audience, for the men's steeplechase. Should we start our lineup on the outside with Shemerai? Seems a good place to start. So, Victoria Wagner-Györkesh winning the women's edition yesterday. You can see his lifetime best there, 9 minutes and 3, so that could be a good target to overhaul that barrier for the first time. This is Tom Erling Korbo, one of the Norwegians, just lining up here on the back straight. Justinas Bershanskis of Lithuania. A little bit of a wink, was that suggested, from David Mazush. Jamie Rossiter, the Loughborough University student, in fact, an Irishman. Andre Pereira, Portugal. Dmitry Ivanenko of Belarus. And thumbs up from Bayram of Turkey. De Flandre of Portugal. See, he doesn't give the camera the eyes. He's steely and focused, as they all are. Dumitru of Romania. And Schutter of the Netherlands. Noah Schutter, in fact. I wonder if he has his own arc. I wonder if the athletes in this field will be running 2x2. I really didn't think I'd get in a biblical reference this weekend, unless it might be the rainfall, which we saw mainly on Friday. And that morning had started off incredibly sunny. T-shirt weather. Right, enough nonsense. Justinas Bershanskis leads the way. early stages of the steeplechase final. We will keep you up to date indeed with what's happening in the shot put, as I expected we might switch to. And this is Jaidi, the Norwegian. So just short of what is that 14-metre mark there, and the one on the right-hand side, 18, the line across. So they're throwing very close to the track. There you have it, the steeplechasers, the water jump, and the shot putters all in one frame. So Andre Pereira now of Portugal leading, 8:39 at best. He's just a few hundredths off that PB in 2019. Peaked at the European Championships in Berlin last year. So coming through now with 6 laps to go that time around. 74 seconds, 0.79. Look at the Belgian keeping our leader on his toes. That's Clement de Flandre, 8:48 this year, the 21-year-old. So a bit of a gap now. I wonder whether any of the other athletes will try and bridge that emerging gap. Tom Erling Kerbo looks as though he wants to. I seem to remember last year that he was one of a number of chasers. Sorry, last year, I should say 2 years ago in Vasta, the last edition of this competition. He was one of a number of chasers, a little bit frustrated with the pace of the second group, and was sort of saying to them, come on, gesturing. If we work together, we can get up to the back of the leaders. Some of those athletes just trying to stay on their feet through that water jump. So completing the first kilometre now, 3:01.57. Good helping of Portuguese flags. They may be needed when the medal ceremony comes at the end of this competition. Another Portuguese athlete doing really well, and no doubt it will spur the rest of the team on to continue to achieve their best. Belarusian just from his facial expression looking though he's battling a little bit, but you can never read too much into those. Korbo in a good spot. Water jump that's decorated with plants. I doubt they need watering often. So Pereira, 8:39 at best, leading them through pretty much in single file, a complete opposite to the women's race, 1,500 metres a few moments ago. A couple of athletes now beginning to drop off the back of this pack. The Slovakian just coming through there. I think he's starting to struggle a little bit. 9:26 is his best. You can see the Romanian in the background there, Dumitru, 9:16 is his best. So yeah, if he can get as close as possible to 9 minutes for the first time, get his team a reasonable helping of points, beat a couple of other athletes, that would be a good job. Noah Shooter as well, but he's run 8:45 this year. So he won't want to be beaten by the likes of the Romanian. The big leading group so far. About to come through with 3 laps to go. There it is, Scooter. Still looking solid in his technique. And They are a little bit more spread out. I did wonder whether if the pace slowed, there's a chance for him to really close up in this race, but I don't think so at this stage. Andre Pereira out front. De Flandre in second place, just as he was earlier on, but Cordoba in closer company now. There's Jamie Rossiter looking pretty determined behind. 8:46.81 this year, the Irish champion. Well, at the British universities, finishing behind the England champion Tom Horton and Dan Jarvis as well. So Portugal, Belgium, Turkey and Norway pretty even across the first and second kilometres. It was 2:59 through the second, following 3:01 through the first. Cordoba just seems to be one of those athletes who likes to be in control of the race. As I said 2 years ago, he decided to push on and catch up to the leading group. And this time in front of a home crowd in Sandnes, he takes over the lead. Down the back straight here. And once again, similar to Mark English, Jamie Rossiter in a strong position for Ireland. Turgo Bayram in front of him. Bayram, who was 8th at the University Games, 8:35.73 is his best though, so one of the strongest athletes in this competition. But now, Cordoba, could this really be his moment? Not dissimilar fashion to Filip Ingebrigtsen yesterday. Really pushed on. Look at the Lithuanian there. Bojanskis battling. Oh, goodness me, just catching up to what was happening there. The camera shot changing. Need another look at that. As we saw the others come through. Cordoba. Oh, wow. Back on his feet, maintains the lead of this race. What a moment. It doesn't even look like that gap has suffered too much, but his heart will be in his mouth. Tom Erling Cordoba with a lucky escape there. Now he's got to do this water jump. Is he tiring slightly? No, I think it was just maybe ever so slight lapse in concentration. Did a full 360 on the ground. But he's almost on skates down this home straight. Saved something for the last as well. Puffing his cheeks in relief. A fist in the air for Cordoba of Norway. Another victory for them. The 6th of this competition. Rossiter coming through the line there. The Hungarian. And the Belgian, I think that was. Well, he fell back significantly from the second place he was in the early stages of the race. But that moment of drama initially caught out of the corner of our eyes. All credit to the Norwegian producer for getting that replay incredibly swiftly. So he's coming through here, just under 400 meters to go. Oh, wow. That is quite a moment. It was not an early celebration. It's almost like in Formula One where you see them do a donut. And there's no way he's going to come out and say, yeah, I meant that. It certainly added a bit of razzmatazz to that race, though. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Anna-Emily Moller, actually, in Geneva a couple of years ago, leading by a good part of maybe 100 meters down the home straight. Completely messed up the last hurdle, but still came through and won. And with a slight blush on her face, but yeah, unorthodox way to complete the last lap of the steeplechase, but quite a moment. Maximum points for Norway, helping their promotion campaign. I wonder if Ola Stunes Isiene will do the same. So just over 60 meters there, 67 at best, that fantastic new PB that I mentioned. Putting 4th overall on the European list in 2019. perhaps some way back on what he would have hoped for. He will have one more go. In fact, it's Kovago of Hungary who has only managed a 58.66. When you consider that he's a 69-metre thrower at best, albeit some time ago, 62.73 this year would have got him inside that top 4 and enabled him one further go. So we're looking at the athletes lining up for the women's high jump here. That's the Romanian Daniela Stanciu. Claire Orcel, speaking to some of the Belgian representatives here, one of their top hopefuls for this competition, missing a couple of athletes here, including the Bourlays and such, but still a great performance from Jonathan Sakour in the men's 400 metres, over which they are so ridiculously strong. Karina Taranda, though, the only athlete who's ever managed 2 metres. And 20-year-old Annabella Neto of Portugal, and Pippa Rogan, the Irish woman who has had a fantastic year, improving her lifetime best to 1.89 m. So it'll be interesting to see how that competition unfolds, concluding the men's triple jump earlier with Pichado on the top. No surprise at all. Possibly thought it might be a bit more of a gap to Grecu, who was sensational in improving throughout each round. And then for Schelke, 20 points individually. That's massive. Tom Erling Corbo, despite that hairy moment, with 400 to go, 8.52 his time, including that unexpected somersault. A little bit of a wave over preparing in the discus, Abramovicius. Well, now this is time for the last throw for each of these top 4 men. Abramovicius, then, he is in 4th place, 62.37, with Furfurica in the background 13 centimetres further. So they each get one last go, and that difference between getting 11 points for the win, 8 for 4th place, could be fairly significant. So once again, another part of the unique format of this competition, and let's see how it unfolds. The discus now taking centre stage. It's the moment for Abramovicius. The great tradition following on from Virgilius Alekna. So not going to be an improvement for him. Yeah, I suppose that's the only thing. There is a potential anti-climax if they really go for it and all foul. But the opportunity is there to get those extra few centimetres and climb up a couple of places in the standings. We're talking about Claire Orcel as one of Belgium's top hopefuls. Of course, Philip Milanov having competed in the shot put yesterday. This is his favourite event. He needs that world standard of 65 metres. Hasn't managed it here, unfortunately. He has improved throughout his series, though, so every chance he could do. Furfurica, 62.50 his best. And 72 centimetres ahead is Milanov. Quick maths there from your commentator. So also no improvement, but he does get that 4th throw in, look like. So if I'm correct, he will have 4 throws over 59 metres. Yes. So an opportunity for Milanov, definitely. Of course, he'd be the villain if he stole the maximum points from all Sandnes Isena. But in a similar vein to what was said about Pichardo in the triple jump, you feel as though Isena, with a 67-metre best, could still respond. Now looking a bit drier than it was earlier. The tall figure of Filip Milanov. So really wants to throw over 65 metres. Oh, and that could be what he needs. Maybe a little short of that. But he absolutely loves it. 64.22 would help put him ahead of Isena. So at the very least, he's going to challenge the Norwegian. And this is what we wanted from this final round. Milanov, 64.55, his season's best. Ah, what's the frustration? 64.73, and you can see, although he's in first place, he wanted that Doha qualifying standard. So hopefully, though, with that new SB next to his name, he still will have an opportunity to get that distance, or indeed still be given selection by the Belgian Federation. So always pleasing when we know exactly what the reaction means, and that was the case for Filip Milanov. In the lead, taken over from Isena, but not that world standard. Best of luck to him. Isena trying to improve in front of the home crowd. This could be another great throw. Wow. Again, it's close to 65 metres. I have a feeling there will only be a matter of centimetres in this. What a finale to the men's discus. So discus disappearing towards the floodlights in the stadium. Cheers from the crowd. What is the measurement here for all Sandnes Isena? He's done it. He has responded as we felt he could. 7 centimetres separate them in the end. 64.80, 64.73. Sunglasses not needed there from Bello. I wonder if he'll be one of those people who'll lose them and then will think he's lost them and then realise, oh yeah, they're on top of my head. But that really delivered, and a sort of knowing handshake from Milanov, beaten by a great competitor in what was a thrilling couple of throws. Well, that was one of the best moments of the day so far. So, from the discus, a little way over to the shot put. Dubitskaya once more for Belarus. So 18.29 in the first round, and then no measurement in the second. 18.78 as we just recap on what happened while we were watching the discus. She has improved by 49 centimetres. Jaidi is down in 10th place. So, hoping to improve at least by 31 centimetres. Now, 200 metres, half laps of the track for these women, and in the men competition after that, Vagatova, just one of 2 athletes to double up across the women's sprints, which was really tough to do because you had to run 2 races within 25 minutes of one another as far as Bazzola was concerned. Vagatova actually had a few minutes more. And she's starting the lineup from the outside. Sophie Becker, DNS, unfortunately. Elizabeth Sletton of Norway there. Then Bazzolo. Perfect of Belgium. Simanowskaya, 22.92 at best. She's pretty close to that this year. Jamile Samuel, DMS as well. Well, that is a surprise, and that could make quite a difference to the Netherlands.
Netherlands with Romania in lane 2 with Camelia Gal. And in lane number 1 from the Slovak
Get more
Republic,
news to you if we can on that. Gal and the Slovakian on the inside, Vajgotova. So the final of the women's 200 metres, just 6 athletes in this, so a real opportunity for someone to triumph. Will it be Bozzolo doubling up here, but not too much work for her, even though there was that quick turnaround. It was 8 athletes places in the final across 11 nations. So Sletton going on the outside, Bozzolo, Vervet, Simanouskaya, Gal and Vajgotova. The other with plenty of rounds in her legs. Here comes Bozzolo, though, being chased down by Simanouskaya, Belarus. Vervet also coming through for Belgium. Very, very close on the line, this one. The Belarusian, perhaps, or Bozzolo. That's an angle of the camera. Slightly difficult to tell. But it was actually a good final gear from Bozzolo, really to challenge at the last. And it is she who holds on. 23.78 from Simanouskaya. Just look at through the centre here. Bozzolo, Vervet, Simanouskaya outside to win. The Portuguese athlete holds on by a hair's width. Or perhaps a dreadlocks width or two. So Lauren Bozzolo, really good helping of points for Portugal overall. Ola Stunez is Senna. Same thing for Norway. 11 once again for them. Following up at Cordable. And that's the thing, when you see a few top performances in quick succession, it will make all the difference to the standings, which we will look at in due course. Bozzolo, with those 2 races in 26 minutes on Friday, just got to be shattered on that occasion, albeit wasn't that hard to get through. Agnes Shechniena, one of those that we lost, the Lithuanian, in the opening rounds, somewhat of a surprise. Right, back to the women's shot put. We are in the 3rd round, just concluding it, in fact. Norvids, the Belgian, 13 metres and 10 in the 2nd round. Let's have a look at her effort here. So she needs a 77 centimetres improvement to overhaul Michaela Walsh of Ireland. 13.87 is her best. Doubled up here. So early stages of the women's high jump. This is Tonya Ongleton, clearing at 175, I believe the bar is at. Indeed, so just the 2 athletes clear at this height. Both have done so at the first time of asking. The other, that's Tana Dunajska of Slovakia. Still, the athletes are wrapping up warm because the conditions remain overcast. Confirmation then, particularly interesting that those 2 athletes who DNS'd, is that even a phrase, is DNS'd, who didn't start, they share the points equally between them because they're equally ranked effectively, and they don't get their times from the preliminary round carried through. Otherwise it would be 5 for Netherlands and 4 for Ireland. So I think Ireland getting an extra half a point out of that. Slightly Interesting rule, but fair that they do, in fact, get points even though they didn't start. Have participated in the competition on Friday. Hagens. So she was trying to become the third athlete to clear at 175. Her and Anabela Neto of Portugal haven't made it over. Of course, a number of athletes, including Karina Taranda, Claire Orsell and Pippa Rogan of Belarus, Belgium and Ireland, respectively, yet to enter. Daniela Stanchu adds her name to the list of clearances. She doesn't look too happy about it, but early on in the competition.
Belgium 165, Hungary 166, Ireland 167.5, and Hungary 169, all struggling to avoid relegation here, and it's going to be quite exciting towards the end of the competition.
Så det här man var dagens råast, det kom verkligen Ola Stune sist när man träffade sig i Kristus. Det kan man inte, men jag syns det var ärligt om ända det om alla har forsat på samtidigt. Det var 2 mil det kommer samtidigt. Då har du stress för att sista omgången och måtte ta tillbaka det. Nej, jag var ju först och främst tack i publikum för en vårdstötte på sista platsen.
You're watching live coverage here then of the European Athletics Team Championships, firstly from Sandnes in Norway. Men's 200-metre final. Starting on the outside will be Diogo Antunes of Portugal, 20.7 at best. A late substitution for Federico Curvelo, who was initially selected. Benke Boros alongside him, PB in Budapest, 20.92 this year. This is Robin van der Benden, part of the Belgian 4x4 gold medal winning relay squad, albeit he ran the heats. Garia of the Netherlands, European 4x1 bronze medalist. Marcus Lawler of Ireland, University Games medalist. Jan Volko, Slovakian national record holder, 20.24, and European indoor 60-metre champion, #1 ranked in this event. Gudminas Truskauskas, the Lithuanian 21-year-old. Johansson, 1 year younger, but with fantastic muscles there. Very envious, I must say. Thompson, European under-23 finalist. And he's done well to make it into the top 8 if you consider that he was ranked 10th overall coming in. Shot there of Lawler of Ireland. Coached by his mother, Patricia, an international sprinter in the 1980s. There he is with leg number 4. The full lineup, though. Johansson from the inside. Truskauskas, Volko, Lawler, Garia, van der Bemden, Boros and Antunes. The men's 200-metre final. So looking for another close race. I wonder whether Volko will be the one to triumph, just as he did over 60 metres at the European Indoors in Glasgow. Going well here. Solid on the bend, so too Garia. Van der Bemden of Belgium coming through the centre also. Lawler battling to stay in contention. Here comes Garia, though, against Volko. So the Dutchman just takes it, and that could be so important for the Netherlands. They've had their fair share of disappointments, particularly in the 4x1 yesterday. A really disappointing final changeover. Just over a 1/10 of a second, though. Garia takes it from Slovakia's finest, Jan Volko. Van der Bemden, great over 200 and 400, as I say. Gets third place, 21.08 his time. Well, more comfortable than some of the other sprints that we've seen.
Christoph, can you tell us about the win and the race?
Garrier actually ran that race into a -2 meters per second headwind as well. So across the weekend, although the weather has fluctuated generally, be it rain or sunshine or just this general overcastness, got to stop inventing words, there has been solidly a headwind for those athletes coming down the home straight. High time we checked out that result in full. Netherlands from Slovakia, Belgium and Ireland. Another decent placing for them. Portugal, Diogo Antunes. So beaten fairly considerably by the Netherlands there. They have Melissa Berkelman in the shot put.
And here she comes for the Netherlands, Melissa Berkelman.
Well, out towards 18 meters for Berkelman. That line on the right-hand side. At the moment, Aliona Dubitskaya, we've seen both of the throws that she's registered, 18.78 the best, and then Dorelli, Turkish national record holder, 18.11. Anita Marton, world indoor champion, 17.66. That is your top three. But can Berkelman change that? No, 17.30. Another improvement. These are the final throws for the top four athletes. Will this be as exciting as that wonderful discus finale between Philip Milanov of Belgium and Ola Stunes Isena of Norway? Anita Marton, 19 meters this year. So has she done enough to improve? Doesn't look like it from there, because just to recap, Dorelli on 18 meters 11. She's getting a shoulder massage though. No improvement. She remains in third place. I wouldn't mind a shoulder massage. Send the Hungarian coach my way, please. Dorelli. Always a sign of a confident athlete when they chuck a discus or a shot in the air before they go for the throw, the put. No improvement for her. So that effectively confirms the full result. Dubitskaya, 18.78, that best, was what was needed to take maximum points for Belarus. Yes, and we already know that that is a red flag. Dubitskaya. She is 20 centimetres off her season's best. That would be something to aim for here. Not so, but as I say, the result effectively confirmed.
First, and then the relay for Turkey second, Anita Marton third, and Melissa Berkelman fourth.
Well, there have been some thrilling battles of many different natures across the run, jump and throw disciplines. Wow, is that an ice lolly in this weather? Extraordinary. Tom Erling Korbo, despite that steeple chase fall on the last lap, you really must go back and watch that. Still managed to win the race just as comfortably as the Ingebrigtsens. We'll see Henrik later on in the men's 3,000 metres. That discus final throw also was brilliant that we saw, and there haven't been too many lifetime bests, I think it's fair to say. Part of that has been because of the wind, but Davile Kilty, in the women's triple jump yesterday, got a break in the illegal wind, so to speak, to register a lifetime best. The Norwegians have also won through Hedda Hunne in the 800 metres and Caroline Berkeley Grovdal. So just watching a replay there of Dubitskaya. High time perhaps that we have a look at what's ongoing. So shot put concluding here for the women. High jump is in action in the early stages. And the men's pole vaults is happening indoors in the Sandnes Hallen, and that was moved because of fears of lightning and not being able to get a reputable competition underway. So the women's pole vault took place this morning, and the men's is ongoing now. And they've actually allowed spectators there for free because of that late change to ensure there is a crowd. But talking of which, there are an alarming number of sunglasses and ice lollies out there. I think that's just a symbol of the changeable Scandinavian summer weather. It's always funny when you can't see one of the wind gauges or wind socks to look at things fluttering to see, gauge from that how strong the wind is. Women's high jump, Tonja Ongelsen. I believe we've gone up to 179, another clearance for the Norwegian, and the crowd enjoying that. Really solid technique, and more from her to come, you would say.
Another good shot for Dubitskaya. She's winning this competition for Belarus and securing 11 points.
Some bananas also being eaten. That is more like it. I've in fact had around 10 or 11 bananas across this weekend. So some issues of overconsumption of potassium, certainly. I wonder how many bananas you actually have to eat before it's a danger to your health. Do let me know. But the Norwegian host providing lots of healthy fruit. In fact, at lunchtime and dinner, there is barely a cake in sight. And of course, that's an athletics competition. And even though you are covering it as a journalist, as a broadcaster, you don't really want to put on weight when you go to a sporting competition. It's embarrassing. I'm sure I've done it in the past, though. Humiliatingly. Women's 5,000 metres is next on track. Roxana Barker, second in Vasa 2 years ago. This is Jip Vassenberg, impressed at the European 10,000 metre Cup, European under-23 champion 4 years ago now. Rugur of Hungary, Volgan of Norway. This is Loretta Konchuta of Lithuania. Valova, Slovakia. Fenula McCormack. Mariana Machado, double up at the European under-20s, won a silver medal despite a fall. Katsiana Karnayenka doubling up here, fourth over 3,000 metres, so another who could get a really strong helping of points. Then Kilic of Turkey, and blowing a kiss to the camera, that was Hannah Verbruggen. I think it was to the camera generally. Maybe someone specific. So underway, the tall figure of Jip Vastenburg, the Dutch athlete. 15 minutes 15 at best. She's represented the Netherlands at the Olympics, World Championships and Europeans. And when we talk of significant international representation, have to mention that Fenula McCormack Formerly, you may remember her as Fionnuala Britton. 3 times an Olympian, competed in the steeplechase, the 5,000 and the 10,000 metres, and the marathon as well. Internationally, she's been training in Font-Romeu the last few weeks. The first woman to defend the European cross-country title in 2011 and 2012. Fourth at the Europeans, behind her Caroline Björkeli-Grovdal, who she's not up against directly here, but Grovdal winning the 3,000 metres and doing less brilliantly over the 1,500, but still using her quality to get Norway in a good position in the standings. It's the Hungarian athlete, Mogur, who would have seen her teammate Victoria Wagner-Gyökeres win the steeplechase yesterday. Interestingly, Hungary, one of those teams who seem to have 2 slightly different kits. One is green and red, one is solidly red. I noticed that some of the Lithuanians all in green and some in yellow and green, which does help certainly distinguish them from the all green of Ireland. 78-second lap there. We have seen some fairly tactical battles. Machado in a good position right on the outside. Machado, in fact, a late substitution for Katia Santos of Portugal. I have to say, a little bit surprising to see a Portuguese team without the veterans like Ana Dolce Felix, the European champion back in 2012, Jessica Augusto, and even Sara Moreira as well, the European indoor 3,000-metre champion and half marathon winner as well. But there are many very experienced Portuguese athletes and many impressive youngsters, and Mariana Machado is one of those. Obviously choose the bright young talents well and then keep them in the sport until their mid to late 30s. There's even a 40-year-old Portuguese discus thrower, but many great veterans on the female side over the years. So we'll keep you up to date with the women's high jump as well. A quick look across tells me that the bar remains at 179. A little bit more attrition than we saw at the previous height. And Angelsson, Neto, Rogan, Taranda and Orsell have all cleared at the first time of asking. Renner, Stanciu and Aydin of Hungary, Romania and Turkey all have 1 failure. Dunajska of the Slovak Republic has 2 failures.
Will start shortly. It's the long jump competition for women and javelin competition for men. So that's what left for this afternoon.
So Fionnuala McCormack controlling this race at this stage. She's going to come through with 9 laps to go. Machado, Verbruggen, Vastenberg, all in this leading group. And they're going along like train carriages at the moment in 2 separate packs. But the wheels staying on track at the moment. McCormack, Vastenberg, Barker are your top 3. Then it's Verbruggen, Machado, Karnayenka. Strong in the 3,000 metres yesterday. And the other athlete in this pack is Killick. Well, a chance to have a look at who's in the second group. Norwegian Valgen is in there. Also Kanchuta of Lithuania. Back to the front. So Vanilla McCormack came back 6 months after pregnancy to finish 18th at the World Cross Country Championships last year. Mentioning that Davila Kilty managing a similar feat, and you can't fail to be impressed by that. Recently saw the news that Ailey Doyle, the Great British 400-metre hurdler, she's had a bit of an injury season this year, but she has taken a break to have a child herself. Her partner Brian. So McCormack very much in control of this race. 3 minutes 6 there, that last kilometre. Back to the high jump then with a bar at 1.82 m. Arnbjørnsen, she's got 45 seconds on the clock roughly by the time she gets back into the start of the run-up position. Well, look at that. Her teammate Maria Stognes Vargan has got right up to the back of that first group. 3:20 through the first kilometre, and then 3:07 for the second. Anderson, well, would have been some feat had she managed to compose herself, reset, and deliver the clearance. Slightly unique rule in this competition, in that overall throughout it you're only allowed 4 failures, so that's irrespective of the usual 3 goes at each height. Women's long jump soon to get underway also, just as we take a look here. Where is Vanilla McCormack? She was just tucked in on the inside. I wondered for a moment. Doing a disappearing act and then switching to the outside here to get some room, get some space, and just a little shake of the head there. Just reeling their way through. Oh, wow. 87-second lap that time around. Not dissimilar to a few of the races that we've seen in this competition. Again, it's a Lithuanian really trying to battle at the front and hold that position for as long as possible. Loretta Kanchuta was also in the second group. They pretty much all closed up. They have indeed. Everyone now running together. All sell. Great clearance for the Belgian. She thinks it was okay. Belgian, a great high jumping tradition through Tia Hellebo, of course. And Rossell, pretty much just as tall, PB 194, so she will want to go higher. But Bruggen wants to be higher up this field on the track of the 5,000 metres, but she is almost trying to clear the athletes through like the parting of the Red Sea, like sliding doors. McCormack still on the outside, bit of deja vu with Kanchuta there on the inside. Who is going to really push on and take control of this race with 5 laps to go and 2 kilometres remaining? Afonso got a good helping of points for Portugal in the 1,500 metres. Machado seems expert at doubling up, and she's doing it here in the 5,000. Taranda, what have you got for us? Oh, so much height to spare. That was naughty. Karina Taranda, 2 meters her best. And we are only here at 182. Possibly a bit of a surprise that she has entered the competition quite early at 179. But you never quite know sometimes in the high jump. You never know whether the rain comes down, and that would be a disaster if she didn't get a mark in at all, because it would mean no points if she no-heighted. I think the only athlete who has got no measurement was Durkin Dries of Belgium in the hammer yesterday. Really gutting for her, but I think you saw that she wanted to take the risk, and when her season's best would have got her in the top 3, really go for it and try and get 8 points rather than just 1 point and play safe. Fionnuala McCormack back to the front of that race, and back where she wants to be in this 5,000 metres from Vastenburg. Her teammate Pippa Rogan is cleared at 182, meanwhile in the high jump. So Orsell and Taranda and Rogan now over that height. And they are starting the early stages in the long jump. In the pole vault, just quickly, bar at 5:46. That's happening indoors at the Sandnes Hallen. So, high jump, Zinaska of Slovakia brings the bar down. First failure at this height. Computer just updating to say that's her second failure, and that means she's had 4 overall. I'm just waiting for the graphic to come up and confirm this is the case, but I believe that would be her unable to progress further. But she's in 6th overall still. And I think Stanci of Romania could move above her. She has 1 chance left. Aydin of Turkey is out, so too Buxtuta of Lithuania and Hagens of the Netherlands. So they had 3 failures at 175, so you'll have 4 overall. But obviously, as per usual, 3 failures at 1 height means you can't go any higher. Angelsson has had a good competition in front of a home crowd. This is her 2nd attempt at 182. Up till then, she had had a perfect record. Well, it was a stutter with the run-up, but she absolutely loves it. Head in hands, a bit of a relief in the reaction. Don't know what she said there, because my Norwegian isn't that great. But as I highlighted earlier, there is a potential for international swear words, but she gets the clearance. 197 her lifetime best. More to come. Last 200 metres of this 5,000 race. 2 laps to go, and slightly less than that now. McCormack still out front, and you felt with her experience, her class, that she would have enough to get maximum points for Ireland. Hasn't quite sealed it at this point. Look at the youngster Machado of Portugal, straining every sinew. Doing so well in the standings, the Portuguese. They've got Vega in the long jump going as well. They lead the standings by 19 points from Belarus, with Norway in 3rd and the Netherlands back in 4th. Ireland, incidentally, just maintaining, therefore, a couple of points ahead of Belgium and Romania in 7th. So Fionnuala McCormack is hopefully going to lift them up the standings from an Irish perspective. Fionnuala McCormack, such a talented runner in terms of her range right up to the marathon. The bell sounds. It's now a bit of a breakaway. Vastenburg not able to respond at this stage, but hey, you know, they've closed up to each other once already, but visibly moving faster now. McCormack in the green of Ireland out front, hoping to give them back victory, but she'll have to fend off the challenge of Roxana Barca of Romania. Just becoming more and more of her position, and it's now the leading position. Machado takes over second place, but Bruggen looking slightly tired, it has to be said. So rounding this top bend, really strong finish from Roxana Barca. Perhaps expected more from Bobachea of Romania, who won the 1500 metres a couple of years ago, but Roxana Barca, look at this final gear down the home straight. Machado grits her teeth, and McCormack, another strong helping of points, but led for so long. In first at the end is Roxana Barca, fantastic fast, 200 metres for her. Just inside 16 minutes from Portugal, Ireland and Belgium. Vastenberg really fading towards the end of that race, having been in second for such a long time. And the absolutely exhausted Romanian lies across the track. Her face is almost the same colour as the service. Thrilling race. And how different did the complexion of it look compared to the pack running altogether, and Barca really stringing them out at the end. As a European under-20 lead for Machado of Portugal, finishes in second, just as she did at the European under-20 Championships in Borås in Sweden last month. Let's go to the high jump, where Claire Orcel of Belgium trying to psych herself up for her next effort. So the bar has now moved up to 185. Just trying to work out how many athletes are left in. And Annabella Neto, as we look at her Portuguese spectators in the crowd, 3 failures at 182, unfortunately, so it means that Rogan, Taranda, Orcel and Angelson have progressed. This is Orda Utsi Onstad, the teammate of Angelson, going in the long jump here, first round. Looking close to the board there. Excellent. In fact, so reasonable way over 6 metres, 6:16. Thought it was a little further, in fact. For Orda Utsi Onstad. Puts her in third at the moment. Let's see how her teammate Angelson gets on here. Wow, she gave that an almighty whack. Wow, that bar was wobbling like jelly. Angelson. I love how the official in the background just is very much professional, and no reaction depending on whether the athlete clears or not. I think that might be Pedersen, the hurdler, who is cheering on the background. Straight on with Orcel. Oh, terrific. No chances there. She's really in the mood for this competition, and Belgium do need a few higher placings than they've had so far, and was saying that Orcel, one of their better athletes, Sakor in the 400 metres yesterday. 4x4 could be interesting, but no Borlays here, unfortunately. So as things stand, Orcel and Angelson over 185.
The under-23 champion
Karina Tarandan and Pippa Rogan of Belarus and Ireland have perfect records. Long jump also ongoing. So keeping on track of everything here. Result of the women's 5,000 metre. Let's just recap that. Barca, the final stages coming through. The only athletes sub 16 in the end. Machado and McCormack, second and third. Another third place for Ireland. Kanchitra and Valova, 9th and 10th. There have been some really strong Lithuanian performances, maximising their best. So I think that's the second third place that we've seen for Ireland. They've had 5 fourth places and 5 sixth places. Lithuania, meanwhile, have had 4 fourth places.
Portugal, 18 years old, with 77.52 this year, Leandro Ramos.
This is the result of the women's shot put competition that we saw a little earlier on. Dubitskaya, Dorelli, Marton, Belarus, Turkey, Hungary. I think we should see some long jump now. And this is Alina Rotaru. Well, she's been jumping in Sweden recently, in Karlstad at the Folksam Grand Prix, beaten back by the young Swedish junior record holder now, Tilda Johansson, who took sprint hurdles gold and also picked up a medal in her favoured event, of which her lifetime best is a 6:73. Beaten by the young athletes, but Rotaru put in a good showing in that competition. Bettered the longest jumps of Jasmine Sawyers, the European medalist from Great Britain, and also Gianna Bartoletta, Olympic champion. Now, if you were with us yesterday, you would have seen 2 Ingebrigtsens, Philip and Jakob, triumph in the 1500 and 5000 metres. Now, no pressure, Henrik. So this full lineup then, Mike Foppen on the outside for the Netherlands. Kovac of Hungary, 7:55 this year. There is Henrik Ingebrigtsen, medalled at the last 4 European Senior Championships. This is his home city. Coached by his father, they live just minutes from this stadium. Simas Bertagius, third yesterday. Sahajda, another who's doubled up here, 8:25 this year. John Travers of Ireland, you can see 7:55 at best. So quite closely matched this field. Nada of Portugal, you really do feel as well as though they're going to hold on to top spot overall. Platonov, Belarus, Aslan Khan of Turkey. This is Isaac Kameli, the Belgian. This will be his first 3,000 metres of the year. And Rusu of Romania. So that's your lineup for the final of the men's 3,000 metres. So the last individual track event of these championships before the relays will conclude. The high jump and long jump and men's pole vault going on indoors as well. Henrik Ingebrigtsen on the inside with the shades. As usual, not only such a talented runner with great range and quality, but also a terrific interviewee as well at the European indoors. He and Chris O'Hare were actually taking hold of the microphones and joking to one another who would beat each other in the end. Beaten by Jakob Ingebrigtsen over 3,000 metres. They had the rain yesterday. It came out after Philip crossed the line, but hopefully it will hold up. Mironchik Ivanova of Belarus. Taranda looking very strong in the high jump. How will her teammate go here? So close to 7 metres. This could be comfortably the furthest jump we've had so far. 6:38 of Anastasia Nguyen. The Hungarian is our best. Make that now the Belarusian 6:76 Bertazius. Leading the way for Lithuania, just as Konchuta did a moment ago. And I really feel as though these Lithuanians have been well drilled to try and give the best versions of themselves that lifetime best for Kilty to win the triple jump yesterday, but just really being told to go for it in what are inevitably going to be some quite cagey tactical races. The fastest athletes knowing on some occasions, including the Ingebrigtsens, that they don't have to be at 100% to win. But Philip, at around this point, with 1.5 laps to go, just went for it, and the crowd absolutely loved that. One of their own. But across the Norwegian team, there has been some fabulous strength in depth. All Stunes Isene, discus, Caroline Grovdal, 3,000 metres, Hedda Hunne in the 800. And some top performances from those who haven't quite stood on the proverbial top step as well. So Batasius, 7:55 this year, an excellent third in the 1,500 metres, already to his name. Henrik Ingebrigtsen, that national record he ran at the Bislett Games, it was a packed-out, sold-out stadium in Oslo for the Diamond League. 7:36.85. The European outdoor record, 7:26, is his teammate Angelsen. So 2 failures overall thus far. Oh, she's not quite as lucky this time around. But she's certainly giving it everything and giving a good show for the Sandnes faithful. Sahajda, the Slovakian, 7th in the 1,500 metres yesterday, 8:25.69. Focus, determination from Henrik Ingebrigtsen. Doesn't want to be caught in the middle of the pack like Caroline Grovdal was. Slovakia, Lithuania, Belgium through Kameli in 3rd place. Sub 8 minutes at best. His first 3,000 metres of the year. The Hungarian trying to make up progress on the outside. They won the women's 3,000 metre steeplechase yesterday. And also the men's hammer on day 1. Right, so Norwegian directors now switching to the high jump, because Claire Orsell, clearing at 185, she's looking really confident here. But she'll want to go up a few more heights. Again, entering quite early. So wait to see how that competition progresses with Angelsen, Orsell, Taranda and Rogan in, and the bar at 185. The Hungarian has moved to the front. That's Benjamin Kovac. Represented his country at the European Championships indoors and out. He had a big lifetime best, in fact, indoors in February, 7:55.91, that we saw in the graphic at the start of the race. Very much bunched together at this stage. Meanwhile, in the men's pole vault, looks like we've had a pass at this height from one of the top athlete, Ben Broders. And the bar at 5:51 meters, and it looks like Sondre Guttormsen of Norway and Ersus Sausma of Turkey are left in. Diogo Ferreira of Portugal assured of 4th place. Another strong helping for him. That competition switched to indoors because of the fears of lightning, so that's happening at the Sandnes Hallen. Well, Belgium looking particularly strong. 800 meters to go. Kovac of Hungary. Then still our leader, Kameli of Belgium. 2nd spot hasn't been a particularly good position to be in throughout some of the distance races we've seen, particularly Vastenberg of the Netherlands, who was there for so long in the women's race. The 5,000 meters then fading back somewhat. Haven't mentioned Dorin Rusu of Ireland, of Romania. I was I was focused on John Travers of Ireland moving through there, but Rusu 8:07 at best. Travers 7:55. Another Irishman who's had some great performances at the British Milers Club over the years. So, when is Henrik Ingebrigtsen going to choose his moment to push on? Is it going to be at the bell or with 200 metres to go? Or is someone else going to spring a surprise and really upset the apple cart, not least the home faithful here in Sandnes? We've got a lake round the back of the stadium. The rain was almost turning the track into a lake yesterday. As Ingebrigtsen begins to push on, Travers battling shoulder to shoulder with the Belgian. What a race this is turning out to be. We've got a lake round the back, though, and the Ingebrigtsens have been running circles around it under the tutelage of their father, Gert, for years and years, since they were yay high. But Ingebrigtsen facing a real challenge here from the Belgian athlete, Batasius, trying to get inside the top three once again, possibly one step higher. Last 200 metres. Looking over his shoulder is Kameli, perhaps anxiously so. Ingebrigtsen must find room, surely. Not going to get caught out like Grovdal did. Batasius starting to fade now. Kameli, what a surprise here. Isaac Kameli of Belgium from Henrik Ingebrigtsen, and a dip on the line there for Foppen, who really entered proceedings in the final stages. Where was he with 400 metres to go? That's what I want to know. But Isaac Kameli, his first 3,000 metres of the year, but no cobwebs at all. If there were any, he blew them off straight away. And he blew away Henrik Ingebrigtsen down this home straight. Wow. Henrik Ingebrigtsen, in a very honest interview, previewing this competition, he said the best that the three brothers can do is win their events. Unfortunately, not managing to do so. I wonder whether his teammates in the high jump can take maximum points, not judging by that, as we've just got the high jump in there. Isaac Kameli, 8 minutes and 9. But the Norwegian record holder with a PB this year in Oslo, 7:36. Being stunned somewhat there. Orsel, high jump, Belgium, 185. Well, it's interesting because the live results just taking a little bit of time to update. So I understand that the bar has now moved up to 1 meter 90. So once again, she's looking in fine form. Lifetime best this year of 194, and one of Belgium's top hopefuls, and they need all the points they can get. So yes, now fully up to date. You can see they're on the left-hand side. Terrific at 190. Result of the 3,000 metres, and glory for Belgium, just as they may get it in the high jump in a moment's time. 11 points. I really needed 11 points, but there's no question that that's a surprise. Henrik Ingebrigtsen in his home city, beaten here. Mike Foppen does indeed just keep Simas Bertasius of Lithuania out of a second consecutive top three in a matter of days. Now this is a big hopeful for Lithuania. Edus Matusevicius in the jab. Slightly disappointed look on his face. Now I believe that is the 80-meter mark on the right-hand side there that he's just short of, with 70 to the left of it. So that was a really powerful throw. Just coming down short. Perhaps didn't get the speed that he would have wanted on the runway. Has improved throughout the series and into the second round, and a chance to go farther. Well, this competition about to conclude on the track, but in the field, plenty of long jumping still to happen as we look at Evelise Vega. So this is attempt number 3 for her. You saw Ireland's Ruby Mie in the background, the sister of Nessa, who was making her senior Irish international debut in the 400 hurdles. Unfortunately, just missing out, but her sister Ruby here in the long jump also, and Ruby, in fact, there she is, was part of the European under-20s team. Missing out on the final there. You can see just how the wind has continued. It's been quite consistent throughout the 3 days of competition here in Sandnes. Incidentally, I was told that locally here, the regional accent and dialect means that the D tends to be fairly silent. It's Sandnes, whereas if you're from Oslo, you might say it Sandnes. Karina Taranda gives the high jump a deathly stare. Now a deep breath. Is indeed the hurdler Isabel Pedersen who's watching on. There is Henrik Ingebrigtsen. I have to say, from the back of his head, he looks very similar to Jakob. So it looks like it's Orsell who'll go first. She's close to that lifetime best now, 192. So the bar now going up by 2 centimetres, as it will continue to do so. If Orsell can continue to clear this height, no. But she has had a fabulous competition and an improving athlete. And watching her at the Brussels Diamond League in that stadium last year, she was one of the Belgians getting a great opportunity to be on a great stage, and since then it improved to 1.94 m. Taranda, so she passed at 190. That's why didn't see her previously. Oh, just shaking their head there. Is she perhaps waiting for the right moment? Belarusian flag supporting her in the background.
It's all about winning the competition in strong fight with Orsell of Belgium. Those two are the only remaining athletes, and here she comes.
Taranda, fantastic, really waited for her moment, pulled everything out of the bag and summoned up some great strength and athleticism. And we could still have more to come. So that pass at the previous height of 1.90 m, paying dividends in the end. One less jump will be in her legs as well. Just look at how strong that record has been, apart from that failure there. So the relays of the 4x400 meters will conclude the competition. Lithuania will go on the outside. Sekshiniena, disappointment, unfortunately for her, in the individual competition. Moraskaita, though, she had a good run yesterday. Bauchanaita and Kriminaita also in this for them. Kukaites, smile for her, European under-23 champion in the 400-metre hurdles in an absolutely thrilling race. Last-ditch victory on the line. Miklos of Romania. This is at Nessa Mie. So doubling up here in the relay and the 400 hurdles. Senior Irish international debut for the Loughborough-based athletes. And Slovakia will go on the inside here. So just to explain, as we saw yesterday, there is an A final and a B final, and it's based on times alone. that is how the points will be decided. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the coverage here from Sandnes, and hopefully a few more surprises, good times, and some excitement to come. So last few races to come down here before the curtain closes. Slovakia, Ireland, Romania and Belgium. The first of the women's 4x400 metre relay finals. So Kukait going off well for Belgium. I was talking to her about that race of the European Under-23s in Sweden. She'd seen that the Italian Olivieri really struggling, hitting that last hurdle and flapping in the last few metres, and just focused on her race and just got her on the line. That's Kruminaita of Lithuania in the lead off for them. Close behind, Ireland will have Walsh, Brommel and Charlene Maudsley, excellent relay runner, both 4x1 and 4x4 to come. And Monoskaita just psyching herself up there as she receives the baton with a bit of work to do. So Belgium, that's Laos and Walsh of Ireland. So stagger now unwinds. Gajanova, excellent 800 metre runner, 2 minutes flat this year. Just to remind you, they're all going for times, and on that basis, Belgium once again looking really strong. They actually won the 4x100 metres. Modoskaita, look at her finish here, because Lithuania were in last place at the end of the first leg, at least while the stagger continued on the outside. But now moving up a couple of spots, and that's particularly impressive. And Lithuania need all the points that they can get. Look at this lead for Belgium. Great battle in behind. You've got Lithuania, Romania, Ireland, Brommel and Slovakia, Stukova. Now really beginning to close. Tiring Belgian athletes, Gaye. And it's more of a battle than Renée Eikens was expecting at the halfway point. Now pretty much line astern, single file. Can Charlene Maudsley make up space? Doubled up at the European Under-23s. Irish relay running has been so strong, particularly at age group level. The national junior record at the World Under-20s to get a silver medal. The likes of Gina Ackland-Moses, Phil Healy and Kieran Neville coming through in the last couple of years. Unfortunate for Patience Jimbagula. She just lost a couple of places at the end of her leg, but wow, what a finale here. Ireland on the inside, determined look of Maudsley, Putelova of Slovakia, and then Romania shaking from side to side is Miklos. So Maudsley just gets the line first, it looked like, 3:35.78. Get a pen, get a piece of paper, mark down that time as we await the second of the two finals. Smile breaks out on the face of Charlene Maudsley. Good battle right to the line. One that was just possible to settle with the naked eye. So that Irish team Morsley there, and Nesamier. So she may have been a little bit disappointed to just miss out on the individual 400 hurdles. So great that she's able to smile after that great performance in the relay. Claire Orsell here. Of course, Ruby Millet in the long jump competition that's ongoing. So Orsell, she really has tried to give everything here for Belgium. National pride at stake. What your teammates do matter. Lithuania, javelin, Matusavicius, top-ranked man in this competition, and indeed the leader. Well, a throw over 80 metres, the first one that we've seen so far. Just looking to see if there's a white flag. 82.35. We just recap here. So improving throughout his series, and a wonderful national record this year, 89.17, putting him third in the world behind Magnus Kirt's 90.61, in contrast to last year when in one event alone in Doha we saw 3 men over 90 metres for the first time ever in the new javelin configuration. So Charlene Morsley coming through for Ireland really impressively to hold on to that victory. The athlete from County Tipperary, second overall at the 4x1 and the 4x4. In Vasa 2017. So this is how the pole vault finished. Guttormsen taking maximum points for Norway. Let's have a look at the standings. Just a few more events to come then. And Portugal still leading 27 points, and you feel they'll hold on now. But Belarus, impressive in second place, because you really felt as though Norway would, by virtue of so many victories, of course Ingebrigtsen just finishing second, but that only means that they're not tying in second. By the way, if two teams do tie on points, as you might have expected, it goes down to the number of event winners and then second places and so on. Unstad of Norway in the long jump. So we are coming towards the end of the third round, and Onstad has a best of 6.16. This is around the same. A little bit further, plus 2.6. You can see the wind helping her there. You're watching live coverage of the conclusion, the last few run, jump and throw efforts of 11 nations vying for national pride and glory at these European Athletics Team Championships in Sandnes in Norway. Once again, we'll have Lithuania on the outside, the men's 4x4 final A, so it's in fact those by season's best ranked slower, shall we say. No ball ace for Belgium, but they do have Sakur, the individual winner. And also Romania, Moraru, Pislaru, Radu and Parga, who ran individually. Decent Irish quartets. Chris O'Donnell, very impressive finish to his race yesterday. Looks like Andrew Mellon, the hurdler, will go on the second leg. Buzna, Danac, Domotor, Slovakia. So it'll be all eyes on the clock. So all goes pretty silent here in the stadium. The men's 4x400 metres final A. Slovak Republic, Ireland, Romania, Belgium and Lithuania. Baton in hand. Lovely close-up of the track surface here, the same as the one in Gävle in Sweden. There we had the under-23 European Championships. So Lithuania going well on the outside. Trumpa will hand over to Janauskas, and then Krzyżanowski and Kasevicius. Alex Doom of Belgium trying to finish this one strongly. Secours waiting on the wings. He is expected to go on the last leg. So waiting for this stagger to unwind, we'll get a clearer idea of proceedings down this back straight. Belgium from Ireland, I believe that is Andrew Mellon, Romania, Slovakia and Lithuania. We did see Lithuania last at one point and really at the halfway point edging into contention, so it could be all changed, but look at how the Irishman pulling through on the outside, scheduled to have Crosby and Porcel. Also, change of Lithuanian and a change of kit as well. Krzyżanowski down to go on their third leg. So Ireland, Romania, Belgium, Slovakia and Lithuania in that order, looking for times. Crowd watching on keenly, not quite decided yet. But the Irish quartet once again looking very strong. I want to see how they might have shaped up in the second of the two finals, just as they did a couple of years ago. Looking good. So Secours has the baton for Belgium. Quite a gap back to Romania. Once again, divisive use of sunglasses from the Romanian in what is significantly overcast weather. But here comes the Belgian. Coming into the home straight now. What a battle this is. Possibly a three-way one. Trying to fight is Pagilov, Romania. Oh, but Ireland are just going to hold on. Terrific last gear in the last 50 metres. 3:08.84. Once again, take a note of that time. Really good job once again from an Irish quartet in the 4x400 metre relay. Just over a tenth ahead of Belgium in terms of time, and just over a second ahead of Romania. So that could be fairly significant. There's quite a big gap for some of the other teams to slot into. How far up the overall standings for the 4x4 will Ireland feature across these relays? They've done all they can.
Oh, it's a red flag. And Rasmussen ends up in fourth place for Hungary with 6:38.
Rotaru now next to go in this long jump competition. So just to catch you up, you've got Mronchik, Ivanova 6.76, Vega, Rotaru and Wen of Hungary. So we go into what is the final now, where they each have one more effort. In the background, a couple of athletes there. Looks like Joro of Netherlands. Ruby Mie watching on. She's just seen her sister did well in the 4x4. 6:01 the best for Mie. And Rotaru, well, has she improved in this last round? 6:61. Only 2 centimetres is needed in terms of improvement to move up the standings into second place. We saw this format at the end of the competition work so well in the discus competition. It was Olla Stunes-Isena in the end who initially saw himself go behind to Milanov with his last effort, and then Isena going back in front. Oh, unfortunately no improvement for Rotaru from a Romanian point of view. And Rotaru has had a good season. 6:91 is her season's best in PB, so might have wanted a bit more from this competition. That would have taken the lead, and the wind is in their favour as well. They are jumping the opposite way to which the athletes run down the home straight. This is Evelise Vega. One last go for her at these European Team Championships. Needs 6:76. She's 15 centimetres behind. I'm not sure if that was good on the board. I think it was a red flag. It was. But Portugal sailing to promotion and springing a surprise from the point of view of some, but the likes of Pichado, who won the triple jump earlier. Vega's going to get second spot overall. Machado, the youngster, the distance runner, doing really well. Irina Rodriguez winning the discus on day 1. Nastasia Mironchik-Ivanova getting 1 more point than Portugal here, but the gap is considerable. Last time we looked, it was 15 points. So after 36 events out of 40, it is showing as 23, back up to 23 now. Belarusian, that could also have been a red flag. No, it's a white flag. So looking to improve on what she's personally managed in this competition. The only athlete to manage over 7 metres in her lifetime. The 30-year-old, 6:93, her season's best. Gave it a good go. And that's what you see at these European Team Championships. Competition right to the line, right to the end. Fantastic. Just look at how the wind has fluctuated, but been very strong headwind in their favour. Another victory for Belarus. Adding to the likes of Parahonka that we've seen today in the sprint hurdles. Taranda put in a good showing in the high jump. So, just to recap, Karina Taranda, who needed to go over the bar rather than under. Taranda goes under. So that confirms her victory. In fact, Claire Orsell had put in an excellent showing. Let's just have a look where things ended up in the end. Of course, only 4 failures across the competition allowed. Orsell's best clearance 190. Taranda managed 192. Angelson and Rogan. Good 4th place for Ireland for an athlete, Pippa Rogan, who has really improved this year. And talking of Ireland, those are the standings at the moment, with 1 more final remaining. The likes of O'Donnell, Maudsley and Mie have helped them get top spots so far, with still more runners to come. Here is how the standings look then. 22 points that leave Portugal, so effectively, you know, we're not going to see them fail that significantly here, are we? You would have thought that the Netherlands would be higher up, but perhaps it's fair to say stronger on the track. Albeit we did see Denzel Comenentia win the men's shot put quite convincingly, particularly as that was a strong field. It had the likes of Sanko Arnaldov, the Portuguese national record holder, who won in Vasa a couple of years ago. So javelin still ongoing now that long jump has concluded, so to pole vault. It is just the B finals of the 4x4s and also the javelin remaining. So it's the fourth round for the top athletes in those first four placings, starting off with Herman of Belgium, the beautiful swallow dive and the scream. 74.89, his best, not going to be an improvement, but giving it everything with one last go here to try and get those points for Belgium. 11 versus 8 points, the difference of coming first versus fourth, because there are 11 nations in this competition. Lithuania, Belarus, Hungary, Belgium, Romania, Netherlands, Slovakia, Portugal, Ireland, Turkey and Norway. That's the way that they sit in order of the points that are going to be picked up in the men's javelin, unless Norbert Rivas Tot, first of all, of Hungary, can do anything about it. Well, at the moment, Rivas Tot, 77 metres and 4. You can see that he needs an improvement of 90 centimetres, excuse me, to improve. Rivas Tot blocking to come to a dead stop on the line. Not quite out as far as 77 metres. Slight shake of the head, he knows it. 81 metres this year, 83 at best. So the Hungarian will get 9 points for his country. Another good points haul. Benki Halash in the hammer, winning on day one. Right, Pavel Mieleszka trying to get the crowd going. You can see just how big the gap is to Matusavicius, who is an 89-metre thrower at best. Mieleszka, just seen his teammate Taranda win the high jump on the other side of the stadium. Just waiting for his moment. 85 metres and won his PB, 82.72 this year, so he is capable. I wonder whether we'll see something similar to what delighted us in the discus. Speed down the runway, accelerating, and then launches, pushes through that javelin, the transfer of energy, the stop on the runway. Oh, unfortunately, tried to give it everything. But just as I with the anticipation of the commentary, but the throw not far enough. You can just see the javelin kicks back there. And landing out on the field, but not as far as he wanted, and indeed, it is a foul. Interesting to note, though, that Belarus are going to pick up 10 points and Portugal are going to pick up 4. That's a gap of 6. Still quite a lot to do in the relays for Belarus, over which I feel Portugal will probably just shade it. There's not going to be a huge amount of difference. More on that in a moment. This is Matusavicius. Can he pull something special out the bag here? The Lithuanian national record holder, third best in the world this year. So short of 80 metres, but he's had a good competition. He's delivered what was expected for him, just like Davile Kilti did in the women's triple jump yesterday. And I wonder how that will affect Lithuania in the standings, because they're bottom at the moment by, let's have a look, 15.5 points, 158.50. So Matuševičius, a real rising star. So many great Lithuanian throwers over the years, and across the field events. Marina Palšuta was watching yesterday. The European indoor champion from Belgrade 2 years ago, outdoor silver medalist 3 years ago. So hello if you're watching, indeed, and to other athletes, fans, coaches, others around the world. Not just in Europe, we had people watching in America yesterday. But the Lithuanians have been pretty strong. And Palšuta was also kind enough to say that I was doing okay with my Lithuanian pronunciations. I did, in fact, enlist the help of a Lithuanian friend who recorded voice notes of some of them to make sure that my pronunciations weren't way off. So thank you. Mironchuk Ivanova from Vega and Rotario. Those are the top three in the long jump. Another strong showing in the top few for Romania. I think that's their 6th, if not their 7th, third place, and only one event outright. I thought Alexandru Novak might place a little bit higher in the javelin, actually. The European under-23 silver medalist who had that gold medal snatched from his fingertips by Cyprian Mrczyglod of Poland. Those javelins waving bye-bye to this competition, which soon, I'm afraid to say, we will do also. Here's the final result of the javelin. Matuševičius, 82.35, 11 points for Lithuania. So that means they are now 10 off the bottom, or 9.5, in fact, off Slovakia. You can see quite a few made up, 6, in fact, on Slovakia. And then Ireland are in 9th place in the standings overall, and Hungary in 8th, despite 3 victories. Yes, we are going to have a look at the standings before confirmation of the 2 relays. Ireland have obviously put themselves in a great position thus far, and oh my word, there is so little separating it, with Romania just half a point ahead of Hungary and another one ahead of Ireland. At the top, more convincing, and that gap has opened up between Belarus and Norway, and the Netherlands as well. So Turkey and Belgium, they look fairly assured of staying in. We'll wait and see. Right, women's 4x400 meter relay. Now, if you're thinking this is deja vu, yes, we have already seen one 4x4 for the women. But, of course, as there are 11 teams going in the pair of heats to decide based on times who will get the points. 11 available for the top team, all the way down to 1. Of course, if you're wondering why there are 11 teams and not 12, that's because Russia, because they're not eligible to compete, automatically relegated, just as they were in the, or from the Super League, I should say, 2 years ago, which was in Lille. The Hungarians on the outside. And Azimata, Rapasi and Molnar, I can tell you. Then Belarus, Lushcheva, an incredible European under-20 finish. They're right on the inside, squeezed through for a medal. Mikan and Katsuchkova. Sara Dorothea Jensen for Norway. They'll also have Uhl, who won the 400 hurdles. These are the Portuguese. They are in touching distance of promotion. Turkey, Sancak, Yildirim, Gurin and Kitchen. And then David Klaver-Bach and Ellsworth of the Netherlands. So the Dutch quartet right on the inside, Turkey, Portugal, Norway, Belarus and Hungary. Just to remind you that Ireland ran 3:35.77 a little earlier on. 3:35.80 Romania, 3:35.93 for Slovakia. As we focus on the teams in this second final, Netherlands, Turkey, Portugal, the hosts, Norway, Sara Dorothea Jensen, Belarus and Hungary. So Hungarians gone off very fast on the outside. Sara Mato, the young hurdler, looked very good, just as she did at the European Under-20s. And it really is good that some of the juniors who've impressed at age group competition, right back to that, have the chance to blend with the senior team. Ruby Mia of Ireland I'd include in that as well, along with a number of others. Femke Bol, the list could go on and on. And should really help with their development. And on merit, after excelling internationally as a junior, they come here and try and help out their team. What about Nketiah Seidel, the 16-year-old Dutch woman who was part of their relay quartet, along with Van Hunenstein, the individual 100-meter winner. Talking of the Netherlands, they are out front, and Sara Mato, I mentioned, slots once again into second place at this stage. On the back straight into the top bend, confusingly, which also has the alternative start-finish there. Not needed on this occasion. So it's Netherlands, Hungary, Portugal, Norway, Belarus and Turkey. Hope you're enjoying the conclusion of these European Athletics Team Championships. Absolutely loving it. Look at how close this is. They'll hand over now. Last few meters, Portugal so close to promotion, and they're leading Belarus comfortably here. Effectively securing a formality, and what some Portuguese fans have said on Twitter would indeed be a surprise. But in the end, you'd have to say, across 20 events, both men and women, they've deserved it. Netherlands, Portugal, Norway now moving up a couple of places. Right onto the shoulder, almost squabbling for space. Thrilling conclusion. I wonder how the times will match up to the 3:35s run by the top three teams a little earlier on. Really gritting her teeth. The Norwegian, Belarus moving out onto the outside, partly because she needs to do so to hand over. Netherlands fading a little. So 3:36.97 for the Lithuanians and 3:37.57 the Belgians, a little back on what they expected, so they may struggle to pick up too many points overall. Back to this race in Portugal from Netherlands, and then Amalie Uhl, who kicked off the 400 hurdles fantastically well yesterday, and then it was just Seia for Norge again and again and again. Victory for Norway. But Portugal, they're on and working those arms really hard. Netherlands trying to fight through the centre. Look at Uhl, the tall figure there for Norway. Is she going to come home in Sandnes? Yes, she is. Eyes on the clock. It's going to be faster than Ireland. Both those three teams, I'm sure, at least. Terrific victory, and Amalie Uhl ensuring that Norway take 11 points. So indeed, that trio all faster than the winning time of the Irish women, likes of Charlene Morsley and Nessa Mie, Jenna Brummel. It was close, you can see on the line with the Netherlands and the Portuguese. Hungary just dropped back a little. So let's have a look. Looks like Ireland are then going to be 4th overall, because it was 3:35.7 and Hungary have run 3:35.8. So the order is going to be Norway, Portugal, Netherlands, Ireland, Romania, Hungary, Slovakia, Belarus, Lithuania, Belgium and Turkey, I believe. There is chanting going on from the faithful in Sandnes. Thankfully, the rain has held off, but Portugal have taken the reins. What a fabulous performance it has been across their team, because I mentioned that they'd only had 2 victories overall through Nascimento 100 metres and Rodriguez, the women's discus, but they led by over 20 points at the end of day 2 yesterday. And that is that confirmed result. Take no real notice of the season's best, because not running a huge amount of international 4x4s, many of these women. But that was indeed what partly seeded the rankings going in the B and A final. Oh, one event to go. What a competition. Still half a point separating Romania and Ireland. Wow. More comfortable at the front. And that now means that Portugal are promoted because they cannot be caught with one event to go. And 11 points versus 0 for, let's say, a false start or a DNF. So there are the celebrations for the Portuguese. They have really put things together here. Think of the likes of not only Rodriguez and Nascimento that I mentioned, but Lauren Bozzolo, who ran 2 races within 26 minutes of one another in the 100 and 200 metres, a really tough event to double up in at these championships, the way the format panned out. Machado, the youngster there, who stepped in today and doubled up. A real talent to watch out for, Mariana Machado, silver medalist at the European Under-20s. One of those who stepped up to senior level and has done a terrific job. And Portugal, they were there to capitalise when Norway failed to change over in the 4x1, when the Netherlands had an awful time of getting it round in the relay. But they can be really pleased, Portugal, with how things have panned out. They've had 4 victories in the end, a couple more being added today. And just recapping, so Pablo Pichardo making the most of him being the standout favourite in the triple jump. 16.98 was all he needed in the end. And Lauren Bozzolo with an excellent 200-metre win. 23.78, yes, not a quick time, but it was a thrilling victory and a very, very close one, just from Kristina Zimanouskaya, who was in 2nd place overall, and her team are 2nd in the standings. It's been a really consistent performance from Belarus, who were relegated from the Super League a couple of years ago, so perhaps we might have expected them to feature strongly anyway, but selfies galore for the Portuguese. Well, not long left to go in these championships, and with the hashtag for this event being Sandnes 2019, SANDNES, on Twitter. Let me know what you think has been the best performance, the favourite thing that you've watched here. Was it the discus competition, where we had the absolute thrilling finale with the 4th round? Let me know your favourite bit of competition, who you've been cheering on, and what you've thought. Some of the teams have had a few up and downs. It has been a great competition overall for Norway. Henrik Ingebrigtsen, unfortunately, not able to make it 3 out of 3 victories for the brothers, who have still had, in their home stadium, the chance to run at a major international tournament in front of the home crowd. So hashtag Sandnes 2019 on Twitter. If you're on there, let us know what has been your favourite performance or what you've made of these championships. Norway have had 9 victories, a total of 99 points just from those. They sit in 3rd place. They just haven't backed it up quite as well with seconds and thirds, 3 of each, whereas the Belarus have managed 7 and 6, 1st and 2nd places, and then Portugal have managed a very impressive record. 4 1st places, 7 seconds, 5 thirds, and 7 4th places. So the Portuguese managing a Mexican wave, which is sometimes a sign that a competition isn't too exciting, but they have every right to celebrate, and that is what it's symptomatic of. And you can probably hear in the background as well the Portuguese faithful, who are suitably happy. Portugal will have a celebratory run in the 4x4 relay as well. Karoknai, the 400 hurdler, making good use of these hurdlers, aren't they? Through Ul, Mato, Mie, to name just a few. Karoknai, Boda, Varga and Molnar. So we watch him tie his shoelaces. He goes for the double knot. Interesting, but is he? Yeah, I thought he was going to just tidy it out there, because that was quite a long lace left hanging. Starovoitov and Lazarov of Belarus. Looks like Overeng, the man who replaced the ill Carsten Warholm, unfortunately. But fortunate for him, he gets the chance in the spotlight. So they've switched those places around there. That's why I'm a little tentative to say them as they are on that list. Lassa recognised by sight. Pereira dos Santos, Pinhão and Coelho for Portugal, who will celebrate. Yasmani Capello, another hurdler who won the individual event, goes on the last leg with the Portuguese. And Ramzi Angela, Van Diepen, Dorber and Ogord for the Netherlands. So once again, the stadium falling fairly silent. Sandnes has played a brilliant host to this competition. The rain has just about held off today. Let's see how this final event turns out. Netherlands, Turkey, Portugal, Norway, Belarus and Hungary into the set position and away. The last event of this European Team Championships first league here in Norway. Fairly even so far. Portugal, the pressure is off. They are already promoted. Overeng puffing his cheeks, huffing and puffing. Hungary around the outside then. As we continue with the stagger until the second leg, the rim of the glass is matching the Hungarians' jersey. Turkey moving through really well. They managed an absolutely amazing victory in the European under-20s. 4x4, there were 5 teams battling down the home straight. Hopefully we'll see something just as exciting here. So handing over now. Portuguese runner has done his bit. But look at this gap for Turkey, who won the men's 4x1. So remember that it's all about times. Ireland ran 3 minutes 8.83. Belgium, 3 minutes 8.96. Romania, 3 minutes and 10. And of course, Ireland and Romania are very, very close in the standings. Slovakia 3:13, Lithuania 3:14. As we turned our attentions back to this race, Turkey, Netherlands going to be close here. Portugal in third place. They've done all they can. Assured of glory, they're going to have a fight on here with Belarus and Hungary and the Norwegians chasing in front of their home crowd. So still, as you were, more and more strung out, in fact, on this leg, with quite a gap. Belarus, Norway and Hungary. Perhaps fighting overall with the likes of Slovakia and Lithuania in terms of times from the first run. Norway with a fast finish as Portugal begin to fade. Doesn't matter too much though. So over to the final leg, the final action of these championships here in Sandnes in Norway. The host just hand over, battling to try and move up a couple of places in 6th overall, just in this heat, of course. And what they manage as per the clock is what matters. Jasmani Capello, the individual 400-meter hurdles winner, with the shade on in these overcast conditions. A couple of spots of rain now on the camera. Beautiful backdrop of the mountains. Wonderful, thrilling competition. And look at this, Netherlands against Turkey, shoulder to shoulder, fighting right at the end of these championships. So too in behind, but Capello just going to use his experience to get to the line first. Ahead of the Netherlands, and look at this battle. Belarus, Portugal, Hungary just with the dip at the end. And that is what these championships are all about. The battle over 5th, 6th and 7th. Those couple of extra points can make all the difference in the standings at the end. National pride right to the death, every few fractions of a second. Every few centimetres in the jumps and throws. So Capello with a victory in the end. Really using his class and experience. A medalist, the top international stage. But Portugal, the ones to celebrate, including Pedro Pablo Pichado, one of the greatest triple jumpers ever. Over 18 metres at best. Not only did he seal 11 points as the favourite, but the rest of the team came through strength by strength across track and field. Fantastic stuff for the Portuguese, and they will feature in the Super League in a couple of years' time. And Pichado now, of course, in Portuguese colours, he'll be among those who'll certainly contend for victory in the triple jump in the top division of the European Team Championships. So just going to look then at the times as we see the Portuguese guys celebrate, and waiting for that time to come up for Portugal. Still waiting rather a long time, but you know, they don't mind too much. It's the placings lower down, like Belgium and Turkey, I think it was, and Ireland and Romania in particular. But I think the Irish, yes, by beating Romania, should be fine. A team photo there for the Netherlands. Well, we thought that they would challenge for promotion. Indeed, they did challenge, but in some areas, including those relays yesterday, you would have to agree that there was some disappointment. But so often, European competitions full of colour. Yellow, red and green of Lithuania to the green of Ireland, and orange and blue of the Netherlands in the end. the prowess of Portugal was perfect in the end. And it's the red and green of this very nation who cannot stop celebrating and have lit up the track and the field here in Sandnes. It has been a marvellous competition, just like it was in Vasa a couple of years ago, where the Finns were so consistent across all the events. And got promoted along with Switzerland and Sweden. And the format of this competition, really impressive once again. And there have been lots of enthusiastic young supporters as well. They've been brought in by our hosts here to try and give them something to cheer about and hopefully become fans of the sport, if not competitors, as a byproduct. So that's another thing that's worked well. Kudos to Sandnes for that. But the messages, I'm sure, of congratulations coming through as far as the Portuguese are concerned, and the others who've done well across this competition. 9 victories for Norway. They're still smiling. There have been some really impressive performances. 2 Ingebrigtsen victories out of 3 isn't bad. And Guttormsen and Grobdal and Huna, just those, along with Isienne, those I can think of on the top of my head. So we'll wait and see the full confirmed standings in the end, and we know that Portugal were already promoted heading into that men's 4x4, but the flags begin to come out, and I'm sure these celebrations will continue for some time, and it has a lasting impact as far as Portugal will concerned. They'll be in a higher division next time around. Really good to see how the Norwegian crowd has raised the game of the home faithful, like they have done in Poland for sure. So they have a really strong team.
Also, athletes, please note that we will now present awards to the 2 best athletes, best male and best female athletes. And they will be presented with...
So, waiting for those standings to come up after 40 events. I wonder if there is just a result held there from that B final. That could be a good reason for the delay, because we still haven't got full results, but we have got what are effectively confirmed top 3 overall in the standings. I should think.
These are the 2 outstanding athletes of the 2019 European Team Championship First League here in Sandnes. World-class athletes, which I hope will do silver medals.
No problem. Do you know what this presentation is about? So we're just waiting for the results of that final 4x4 to confirm everything. There is a sea of Lithuanians in their bright yellow. Slovenia not here, but perhaps it's between Slovenia and Lithuania for the brightest European kits, because they have a really strong green. Nagyarosag, the Hungarian team there.
There's a message for the Belarus team.
So now, as we expected, we're going to have the presentation as we then await the confirmed standings here in Sandnes. So the Norwegian youngsters all given flags of the different countries. And that's nice, because it means they're cheering every team on. And the athletes, I'm sure, will react to that. Because they could have given them all Norwegian flags, of course. And can make out just about every one of the teams. But the format of these championships is one sense in which we have shown once again things excelling. Teammates cheering each other on, being spurred on by one another, because it matters how you do relative to your nation's score overall. 11 points for first, and then just finishing third can be 2 points less. And I think we're going to see in a moment that that will make a difference in terms of placings after 40 events. Now, one thing I haven't done is as the pole vault came earlier on, and it was switched from outdoors to indoors at the Sandnes Hallen because of fears of lightning, shown proper results from that. Irina Zhuk won the women's competition with a best of 4:56 earlier in the day. Lina Retzius second for Norway. National record of 4:51. I don't think we've seen any other national records, or too many certainly, across all of these championships. And Heymans of the Netherlands, 4:46. And Smets, Arikazan, Onofre, Cisco, McCartney, all the way down to 8th. The men's pole vault, Sondre Guttormsen, a best of 5:51 to take a 9th victory for Norway overall. Ben Broders of Belgium, 5:46, one of their better performances. Ersus Salzma, 5:41 in third. Diogo Ferreira, the same height as Rutger Koppelaar of Portugal and Netherlands, respectively, 4th and 5th. And then Kamil Mazovic of Belarus, Szymon Varos and Krajnak of Belarus, Hungary and Slovakia down to 8th. And then Roth, Gedrimas and Deliu of Ireland, Lithuania and Romania, 491, 491 and 471. That result in full. There's a guard of honour for our top teams as we await those medal presentations. So they're just trying to come through with those final results from the 4x4s, waiting on the computer for those times. Well, a chance to say thank you to all the officials as well. Their hard work, right down from the technical delegates, the track and field judges, the starters, all the volunteers, including the transportation as well. They work really hard as a team. And I said the same point when I was covering Gävle and Borås at the under-20 and under-23s, how they all come together at the end of each day and have a technical meeting. And it's fascinating how everyone makes sure that every bit of the competition comes together to make a success. So it's great that these volunteers get their moments. And the medal presentations, what's remaining from these championships.
Ser du en pappa der da, Martina?
gjøre klart til den avsluttende rekruttering.
So out come Belarus. So with the results of the men's 4x4 still pending, Belarus coming in after 39 events of 40, 10 points ahead of Norway. So Norway would have needed to win and Belarus come last for any of that to change. They didn't, so we know that Belarus will take second overall. But Portugal celebrating a wonderful promotion. And they have some dramatic music as well. And all of the Portuguese team, not just the athletes. Starko saw the coach or two, team manager in the spotlight as well. Mariana Machado, what a star. And the Norwegians coming out last. Cheers from the home faithful. There is Isabel Pedersen. Ola Sandnes Isena, one of the highlights of the competition. Øvring there, who was a call-up, replacing Carsten Warholm. So he got an opportunity. Amalie Uhl. Victory for her as well. I'm going to let these Portuguese guys celebrate.
The Norwegian team. Så the Norwegian team, det norske laget, kom frem og på pallen her, kom frem på podiet. Og så skal vi bli tildelt premien som tredje beste lag. Det er Eivind Henriksen som er skiltet, og det er Tonje Angsten der med flagget, og Norge er på tredje plass og får sin plakett her av Stanley, som er ordfører i Sandnes, og Ketil Kømmernes som er beste på laget og plassert før.
So officially confirming the Norwegians, third overall, 266 points, with 9 victories. Belarus took 7 helpings of maximum points.
Promoted to the Super League.
But promoted to the Super League. Just look at how delighted this Portuguese team is. And I'm sure their celebrations will continue long into the night. We remarked that they were 20 points clear yesterday, but had only had 2 individual victories. They added to that, making a total of 4 today, comparing to 7 overall for Belarus and 9 overall for Norway. But it doesn't matter. Portugal going up to the Super League. Rodriguez and Nascimento on the first 2 days. And then today, the triple jumper Pedro Pablo Pichado and Lauren Dorcas Bazzolo. Those who took 11 points for them. It's a team full of experience and young talent. And I don't think it will look out of place by any stretch in the Super League in 2 years' time.
We will now raise the flags of the 3 best teams, and we will eventually also play the Portuguese national anthem. So the Portuguese team, get ready to sing along with your own national anthem.
Nossa, Portugal!
So the Portuguese national anthem ringing out around Sandnes here. And very passionately sung as well.
Dear friends, what a fantastic weekend this has been for European athletics here in the European Team Championship in Sandnes. Thank you so very much to Sandnes Sports Club and the municipality of Sandnes for staging and hosting this event. And to all the athletes and teams, have a safe trip home and have a fantastic future in the sport. Thank you.
Good. Final remarks.
Very passionate speech there, as far as closing remarks go.
All of you, thank you very much. It has been great days in our city. We are so proud of Sandnes Idrettslag and all of you. We are so proud to host that Sandnes City has hosted this great event. Thank you again. Have a nice, safe trip home and welcome back some other year. Thank you.
Yes, the local organisers are very proud of the show they put on, and marketing for these towns and cities that host these competitions is very important to try and welcome people back to the likes of Gävle, Borås and Sandnes. Bydgoszcz, obviously, where the Super League is being held, is a long-time hoster of major athletics competitions. But places like this, and indeed Vasa in Finland, just hoping to put their name on the map by hosting a sporting tournament like this. And they've hosted it very well. So many great Nordic championships that European athletics have put together with the good work of passionate local people. And finally, the team standings after all 40 events, confirming that Portugal comfortably, in the end, ahead of Belarus and Norway, the hosts, who had 9 victories overall. They brought their best, you'd have to say, apart from possibly the relay disappointments. Netherlands, they would have wanted a bit more, I think we should say. And then Ireland just holding on there. Romania, Hungary, Slovakia and Lithuania go down to the second league. Well, what a fabulous championships it has been in Sandnes, here on the west coast of Norway. This city, one of the fastest growing in the country, has been one of the fastest in terms of raising popularity. I'm sure a number of people will now have put Sandnes on the map, as the Ingebrigtsen brothers have been doing for years.